at 9 on 7.
For 100 years, the Big Ten has featured some of the most physical, hard-hitting football in the land. Indiana has felt the brunt of it this year. Injuries to key offensive performers like quarterback Chris Ditto have plagued the Hoosiers. But there is a silver lining to every cloud, and from that cloud burst third-string tailback Sean Glover, who ran for 199 yards at Iowa last week. Mighty Michigan, too, has felt the pain of the arduous campaign. Starting quarterback Scott Dreisbach injured. The Wolverines look to the talented junior tailback Tim Biakabatuka to pick up the slack. It's Michigan and Indiana next. Creative Sports presents Big Ten Conference Football. It is a gray, cool, overcast afternoon on the campus of Indiana University. The Indiana Hoosiers at 2-4 play host to the Michigan Wolverines. Hi, everybody. I'm Wayne Larrabee along with Randy Wright. Jim Barber will be joining us on the sidelines in a moment. We'll be going to our studio, and Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us for what we expect to be a very interesting game. Michigan comes off an unexpected loss at home to Northwestern, and they've had 2 weeks to stew over it, Randy.
Wayne, Northwestern is a much-improved football team this year, but these Michigan Wolverines don't believe they should have lost that game. They had 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, a holding penalty that nullified a touchdown, and they had 3 chances to score a touchdown inside the 1-yard line. These are very uncharacteristic of Michigan football. They have not been happy with that performance.
Well, you're right, and it came in the big house up in Ann Arbor, missed opportunities to say the least. Meanwhile, the Indiana Hoosiers have been plagued by injuries on offense all season long. They got their line back intact last week at Iowa, and it helped, but all the pieces are not there yet.
No, not at all. Most notably, they're missing their quarterback, Ditto, and their tailback, Alex Smith. They do have some guys that have stepped in and done a nice job. The good news for Indiana, their offensive line is back intact for the second week in a row. Last week it provided a very, very big lift for them.
All right, well, joining us from the studio, keeping us updated on what's going on in the Big Ten and around the country, let's send it back to Mike Gleason.
All right, thanks a lot, Wayne. We'll check back with you in a couple of minutes. Hi, everybody. Mike Gleason in the Big Ten studios. And for our Big Ten pregame show, 3 unbeaten teams left in the Big Ten, all in action. Here's how the schedule shapes up. After 2 straight tough road wins, 4th-ranked Ohio State returns home to the Horseshoe this afternoon, hosting Purdue. The Boilermakers look to shake off last week's heartbreaking loss to Penn State. 2 top 25 teams go head-to-head as number 24 Wisconsin visits 11th-ranked Northwestern. It's the Wildcats' homecoming game. At East Lansing, Michigan State's defense will be tested once again today with Minnesota's speedy Chris Darkins in town. The Golden Gophers will be playing their first game outdoors this season. And later this afternoon, number 18 Iowa puts its perfect 5-0 record on the line when the Hawkeyes entertain 19th-ranked Penn State. Iowa will face 4 ranked opponents in the next 5 games. As we move deeper into the Big Ten race, we see the Wildcats of Northwestern are sitting on top of the conference. The Buckeyes and Iowa tangle next week in Columbus. Meanwhile, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin still with hopes of earning their trip to Pasadena. And speaking of the Rose Bowl, where does it fit in to this picture as far as the national championship race? That's a hot topic of discussion all across the country. A lot of people are hoping Ohio State, USC run the table, go into Pasadena unbeaten. Not among them, however, those affiliated with the Bowl Alliance. In the season that marks the 50th Rose Bowl, the 1996 contest in the granddaddy of them all could once again carry national title weight. The game, coexisting with the Bowl Alliance, will challenge the system's goal of producing a true national champion. A possible matchup between conference leader Ohio State, currently rated 4th, and Pac-10 frontrunner Southern Cal, ranked 5th, would give the Rose Bowl 2 high-profile teams carrying resumes loaded with impressive wins.
The way I look at it, if we win 12 football games, in my mind, we will be national champions. Now, we may not be voted national champions, but that's as good as you can do. With the schedule we played, if we win all of our football games, the national championship, in my opinion, will take care of itself.
Ohio State has secured their argument for a run at the national title based on strength of schedule, with victories over ranked opponents including Washington, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Wisconsin.
If you go strength of schedule, the teams we played, the conference teams that played, and the teams in other conferences plays, no question, the Big Ten this year is the toughest conference from top to bottom. I think we played like 12 games, and our record against outside ranked teams is 8-4, and that's pretty good.
I think the strength of the conference has been the fact that Northwestern and Purdue and Minnesota are now very good football teams. They may not have the the mentality of winning yet that makes them a great team. We may not have, the kids aren't the Michigan-type kids and those kinds, but they got a lot of fine athletes. Those three young coaches have done a great job.
At this point in the season, the Big Ten has posted a non-conference record of 27-7-1, and currently has 6 teams ranked among the top 25 with an overall record of 27-6-1.
If we run the table, Mike, we will be national champions in my mind, and that's all that counts. That's all that counts. That's all I worry about.
Meanwhile, up the road from Columbus in Ann Arbor, Lloyd Carr has his Michigan Wolverines ranked 10th in the country. The big question there, of course, when will they remove the word interim from the head coach's name? Let's check in with Jason Hillman.
6 games into Lloyd Carr's head coaching career, he and his Wolverines are 5-1. The 5 including a thriller in the opener against Virginia, and the 1 a disappointment at home against Northwestern. The starting quick out of the gate didn't make everything easier for the coach.
We went through a period here where, after we got off to a 4-0 start, everybody had us 10-0. And the fact is that there's no one in this conference that can't beat anyone else.
Never was that more apparent than 2 weeks ago in Ann Arbor, when the Wolverines' winning roll came to an end.
We've addressed that game, and what we have to do is move on. We can't worry about it. It's gone. And, the whole thing is to be able to put the last game behind you and dwell on the next one.
That outlook extends from the coaching staff to the players. So despite the turmoil in the offseason and the uncertainty regarding Carr's future as head coach, the focus never wavers.
Hopefully, when this thing is over, we'll be able to say that we did a great job, and we didn't. If we did fail, we didn't point the finger. We just worked together, and to me, that's the value of athletics.
When you think of Michigan football, you certainly think of tradition and a long and storied past, including coaching legends like Bo Schembechler. Well, now Lloyd Carr is carrying on that tradition the best way he possibly can. He's winning.
The fact is, we've got half the season to go, and so our greatest test is ahead of us.
Lloyd Carr, once 10-0 as the quarterback of Northern Michigan University this afternoon. His son Jason could be pressed into action for the Michigan Wolverines. Back with more from the Big Ten pregame show coming up in a minute.
The 1995 NASCAR Winston Cup season is one of the most competitive in history. Now you can look back as racing's biggest stars provide high-powered action by ordering the 1995 NASCAR Year in Review home video. For just $19.99, you can relive Marlin's Daytona dominance, the emergence of the series' new young guns, and the tight race for the point championship. To order, call 1-800-91-NASCAR or send $19.99 plus $5 shipping and handling to the address shown.
Welcome to an Ameritech testing town, where people try out real breakthroughs in communications technology.
Hello? Just the brother-in-law. You still using that passive display?
If a product doesn't make it out of here, it doesn't make it out.
Charlie? Hello?
Charlie?
Those buttons are too small.
Separate checks, guys?
I'll get it.
Because we believe that if technology doesn't work for people,
Anyone know how to make this thing stop flashing 12?
it doesn't work. Ameritech, your link to better communication.
Bob Lambert took this job for some very good reasons. One of them is the benefits. Like Delta Dental. Bob's group chose Delta Dental because we manage costs and offer options from traditional plans to dental PPOs and HMO-type plans. And each one delivers quality service. And that's good, because when Bob's on the job, he has other important things to worry about. Delta Dental, right where you belong.
Welcome back to the Big Ten Studios. The game you'll be seeing today, Michigan and Indiana. Let's check back in with Bloomington. Here's Wayne, Randy, and Jim. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. We've got the Michigan Wolverines at 5-1, the Indiana Hoosiers at 2-4. And given the nature of the day we have out here today in terms of overcast, windy, kind of raw, maybe a little bit of rain in the air, both of these teams would like to run. But they'd like to run for different reasons, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. Michigan wants to get back to the basics after some of the mistakes they made against Northwestern. Fred Jackson, their offensive coordinator, told us if they throw the ball 4 times today, it's going to be because they're behind. And when they want to run it, they've got the guy to give the ball to. Tim Biakabatuka is an outstanding running back. He can score from anywhere on the field on any play.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention another motivation for both coaches keeping the ball on the ground. Well, they're working without their starting quarterbacks, Chris Ditto, of course, and Scott Dreisbach. Dreisbach for Michigan, Ditto for Indiana. Both are down with injuries. The Hoosiers got their offensive line back intact off the injured list last week, and it certainly helped in their running game. But their objective on the ground is a little bit different than Michigan, isn't it?
The end result will be the same, but I agree with you. It is a little different. They want to run the ball also to take time off the clock. They're going to give the ball to Sean Glover, their backup, who has stepped in and done a very nice job. Last week he had 48 attempts against Iowa, but they want him to get in between the tackles 5 or 6 yards at a shot. That way they can take time off the clock. They want him to score, but they want it to be on the 11th or 12th play of the drive, not necessarily the first.
And really quick, Michigan is #1 in the Big Ten, 6th nationally defending the run. They only give up 90 yards a game on the ground, so a challenge there.
If you can't run it, you got to throw it. Fortunately for Indiana, they've got one of their best wide receivers back today.
Turnovers always play a role in every football game, and they have really been evident for both of these teams this season. Let's get on to our sideline reporter, Jim Barber. Jim?
Wayne, ask yourself, how many times have you heard this phrase from coaches? Whoever turns the ball over least amount of times wins the football game. Well, Michigan knows that. True to form a couple of weeks ago when it turned the football over 4 times and lost to Northwestern. Indiana has even more severe problems when it comes to turnovers, because when the Hoosiers turn over the football, it results in points. 18 giveaways, just 10 takeaways. Those 18 giveaways resulting in 56 opponents' points, and they are last in the Big Ten with a -8. Defensive coordinator Joe Novak can't figure it out. He told us yesterday, you know, we're more aggressive than we were last year. Last year we had a more of a vanilla defense, and yet this year only 10 takeaways, and as a result they're not making things happen. As for the rest of the conference, the teams that are sitting on the top, the 3 unbeaten teams, are the best in protecting the football, and as a result, that's why they're winning. That's the story here in Bloomington. Let's send it to our Big Ten studios, and standing by live is Mike Gleason. Mike?
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. You know, Northwestern's rise to the top of the Big Ten has captivated college football fans nationwide. With victories over Notre Dame and Michigan, they're knocking on the door for a top 10 ranking. Here's Norm Potash with more on the Wildcats.
Here in Evanston, the Northwestern Wildcats are all pumped up about their rise to number 11 in the rankings. With no injury problems, their only complaint is too much media attention. What a change.
This means your program's getting some credibility, and our kids are handling it pretty well. Soundbite USA. We're very cautious with the media, no offense, but you know, the same people that pick you to lose and write up magazines about how you're going to finish 1 and 10 now are up here interviewing you.
It comes with winning. I mean, we plan on winning, so you know, we figure you guys will be showing up sooner or later.
With resurgent Northwestern, this is Norm Potash.
After 2 weeks on the road, the Ohio State football team returns home to Ohio Stadium to take on the Boilermakers of Purdue. Now, there's a lot of excitement here in Buckeye Land. After all, Ohio State is riding a 6-game winning streak. Purdue, on the other hand, has had an up-and-down season, but the Buckeyes know the Boilermakers are not to be taken lightly.
They're definitely a dangerous team. We go out and play them. I mean, they matched up to Notre Dame well. They matched up to Penn State well. So, you know, they're going to come out ready for Ohio State.
Granted, we played their big-name schools like Penn State and Notre Dame, but Purdue is a good school, and, I mean, they can beat anybody. They played with Notre Dame up until the last minute of the game, so, you know, it's not an easy schedule from here on out.
It's going to be another physical game. It's not a, you know, like I said, it's going to be another tough game, so we better come with it strapped up, so to speak.
One other note concerning today's game, it's homecoming for Ohio State, so emotions will be running high as the Buckeyes gun for their 7th win of the year. At Ohio State, I'm Dom Taveri reporting.
Michigan State has beaten Minnesota 14 straight times coming into today's game, and Spartan fans are excited because quarterback Tony Banks, who's missed the last 3 weeks with an injury, he looked much better in practice this past week, and he could play some today, and the Spartan coaches want him ready for Wisconsin and Michigan to follow. Well, if Michigan State wins today, that would be 4 wins for the Spartans, getting close to a bowl bid, but that is talk that Nick Saban does not want to hear at all just yet.
I'm worried about Minnesota. I don't care about any bowl games. I don't care about anything else. It's our goal for this team, for the seniors on this team, that they have a winning season this year and that we play to our full potential as a team, and we reestablish a winning tradition at Michigan State for the football program.
For the first time in a long time, the Hawkeyes are 5-0, and the fans in Iowa City are talking Rose Bowl. But the Hawks know they have a long road ahead. a road that starts at home here at Kinnick Stadium against number 19, Penn State.
It's an awfully big week for us. You know, it's a game that, you know, you look on the schedule that we do need to win, and they're going to be coming in here. You know, it's a great tradition.
We're going to stay focused and not forget about why we started and the attitude that we had when we started the season, started our training. So we do all those things. Maybe something will work out on Saturday for us.
The Hawks' health won't help matters. Tailback Tavian Banks will definitely miss the Penn State game with a broken wrist, and others could join him on the sideline. Cedric Shaw, Tim Dwight, Ross Verba, and Lloyd Bickham are all questionable, but that doesn't mean they won't play.
We still have hopes that some of these guys are going to be able to play. I mean, you give a big, healthy 21-year-old guy an opportunity to relax for a week, not do anything, golly. Unless they amputated his leg, he ought to be out there.
So it looks like the Hawkeyes will be in full force after all. In Iowa City, I'm Rod Mackey. Let's now toss it back to Mike Gleason in the Big Ten studios.
All right, Rod, thanks a lot. We're just a couple of minutes away from our kickoff today. It's Michigan and Indiana from Bloomington, and we'll be back with more of the Big Ten pregame show from the Big Ten studios coming up after this.
Identify yourself. Do you go for the gusto? Go out on a limb? Go full speed ahead? Go where no man has gone before? Or are you a cornflake eater? Guess not. You go for the adrenaline-pumping, milk-defying taste of Wheaties, made with wall-to-wall, indoor, outdoor, toasty, tasty, 100% whole wheat. A whole mouthful of flavor. It's the whole Megillah. So for taste that goes all out, go for the over-the-top taste of whole wheat Wheaties.
Now on the commemorative Cal Ripken Jr. box.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Look for your Gold MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
Crunchy. Salt, crunchy, salt.
Why are the two biggest, baddest sinners on the planet arguing over tacos when they could have this?
The new double-decker taco from Taco Bell.
That's big. What do you think?
Wait till they try this. Introducing the Nacho Cheese Double-Decker Taco. All the double-decker taste you love, now smothered in nacho cheese sauce. Just 99 cents. Only at Taco Bell.
You guys are millionaires. Buy your own. Buy your own.
The Mercedes E-Class, the Acura Legend, the BMW 5 Series, the Lexus LS400, the Infiniti Q45. Our luxury performance sedan outsold each of them in its first model year. Aurora by Oldsmobile. Now the imports are the ones with some catching up to do. It's your money.
Here looking at Bloomington, Indiana, the Hoosiers still looking for their first Big Ten victory in 1995. The Michigan Wolverines are trying to keep their Rose Bowl hopes alive. We'll keep you updated with scores and highlights throughout the day, but right after on the other side of this timeout, we'll have the kickoff of Indiana and Michigan, and we'll see you back here at halftime. Big Ten Conference football is brought to you by Burger King, where you can get your burgers worth. And by Finish Line, get there first.
Kaleidoscope Big Ten football is brought to you in part by your local Honda dealer.
More room. More power. More luxury. More Civic. For less than you think. Ask your Honda dealer about the full line of new Civics. He'll tell you more.
Introducing Arby's Western Bacon Clubs. Thick cut peppered bacon and 2 mouth-watering sauces, all atop Arby's roasted chicken or beef.
My new bell tire warehouse is so colossal we will never, ever run out of room.
Why run out of room?
Bell Tire's Big Lee Blewett warehouse sale. The savings are colossal.
Don's Scariest Dares Yet, Friday night at 9 on 7.
Jim Barber, good to have you with us. Big Ten football on a cool afternoon in Southern Indiana. There is Bill Mallory, the head coach of the Hoosiers, the winningest football coach in IU history at 65, 65, and 3. But he has had his problems against Michigan. In fact, he sent 3 of his sons to play football at Michigan. And there is Lloyd Carr, former defensive coordinator, now the head coach at the University of Michigan. A record of 5-1 in his first season. Michigan won the toss. As you get a look at the conditions they'll play under here, they elected to defer their decision to the second half. Indiana will receive the kickoff to begin the ball game here this afternoon. Indiana operating an offense from north to south. Ajamu Stoner, number 16, dropping back deep to receive this opening kickoff. Joey Ellams also back deep for Indiana. Jay Feely kicking off. He's put 6 into the end zone this season, and here's his approach. We're underway from Indiana. Ajamu Stoner from the 7. Stoner waited for his blocking nicely. Good run back here. May go all the way. Stoner to the 40, to the 30. Yanked down from behind on a touchdown saving tackle near the 25-yard line. Brian Williams made the play from behind.
When you hear so much about Indiana giving up big plays, now their special teams can make one. Stoner does a nice job of letting the hole develop, putting on a few moves, and then right here just turns on his speed and outruns that Michigan coverage team. Does a nice job getting the ball all the way down to the 26-yard line, 27-yard line. Big play for Indiana to start this game.
So Stoner on a 68-yard return, and Indiana to first down in Michigan territory. Glover is the tailback in the I formation. And a miscue on the snap. Penalty markers all over the field. The Big Ten official we'll be hearing from the white cap is Jim Kimmerling, veteran Big Ten official. Offsides the call against Michigan. There is Adam Greenlee, the senior out of Columbus, Ohio.
You see the key stat right there, Wayne. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Needs to start making some big plays. Even though he hadn't played very much, he is a senior.
He has run the football 28 times, and some of the running plays are designed plays for the quarterback. It's 1st and 5 now for Indiana inside the 25 of Michigan. Glover upended by William Carr. Take a look at the Indiana skilled people. Eric Matthews, big play wide receiver, good speed. He's back. He's been 3 weeks on the injured list with an ankle injury. Jay Seib is the experienced center who holds this line together, a junior. He's played every game this season, which is news on the Indiana offensive line. And you get a look at Sean Glover, 3rd string tailback here this week, but last week 199 yards on 48 attempts. Alex Smith and Michael Batts both on the shelf with injuries, and they go to Glover again. Good cutback move there, and Glover down near the 20-yard line, about 3 yards short of the first down. The Michigan defense sets up like this. Jason Horn, very active. They'll move him up and down the line. In the linebacking core, Jarrett Irons, very efficient linebacker. These are excellent linebackers for Michigan. Charles Woodson is a true freshman playing in that Michigan secondary on the weak corner. And there you get a look at Jarrett Irons.
Michigan switched this year to that 4-3 defense, and that has really allowed Irons the freedom to roam and make some big plays at linebacker.
3rd down and 3 for Greenlee and company. Michigan coming on a blitz. Glover gets the call, and he's not going to get the first down. Good pursuit by the Michigan defense. They really strung it out. Steve King, the free safety, came over to make the hit. No gain, and it is a 4th down for Indiana.
When Michigan can get Glover running to the outside, they have a big advantage. Glover does very well when he can stay inside the tackle. He tries to run off tackle. Michigan fills the hole, forces him to the outside here, and then Michigan's pursuit catches up to him. Nice play by the entire defense.
Bill Manilopoulos with a 37-yard field goal attempt for the first points of the game, and he's got Indiana on the lead. 68-yard kickoff return by Ajamu Stoner gives Indiana life inside of Michigan territory on their first drive of the game. And although it was a short drive, it results in a field goal by Manilopoulos, and it gives Indiana the early advantage.
I think if you're both head coaches right now, you've got to take some satisfaction in what happened. Michigan certainly didn't want to give up the touchdown. Defense played well, held them to the field goal. But yet Indiana did get on the board first. They took advantage of the long run back by Stoner and at least converted it into some points. So could be a positive if you look at it from both coaches' points of view.
University student basketball sales continue Monday through Friday.
Michigan bench. Brady, we wondered how they would come out for this game after losing at home in unexpected fashion to Northwestern in a game that Michigan felt it should have won if it had taken care of business in terms of the football. But nonetheless, you wonder how a team will come out in this situation. That kickoff return, but the defense looks solid. The kickoff return shaky. The special teams a little bit shaky at the start, but a solid defense.
And if you're Michigan, your defense has to be solid. You're going against an Indiana offense that is banged up, especially in their backfield with their quarterback and with their tailback. So you can't afford for that Michigan defense also playing without your starting quarterback to be shaky at all.
Bill Manilopoulos normally would be kicking off in this situation. However, you saw him on the bench. It looked like he was shaken up on the play. Will Horn will be kicking off for Indiana. Toomer and Hayes are back deep for Michigan. 3-0 Indiana in the early going of the first quarter. Horn gets good leverage into this kick. It's Amani Toomer from the 4. Toomer following his blocking. Stripped up from behind. A good play made by the freshman Jabbar Robinson, an outside linebacker. And Michigan will start short of its 20-yard line.
Wayne, Michigan had Toomer and Hayes. They're starting wide receivers returning the kickoff. They have always done a good job of putting their starters on special teams. They don't generally use backups at their special teams position.
Brian Gracie, number 14, goes in at quarterback, sophomore out of Miami of Florida. His father, the great Hall of Fame quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, Bob Gracie. Brian suffered a shoulder injury in that Northwestern game, did not practice the off week, but did get in some drills this past week, and he was questionable for the game here this afternoon. This is Bianca Batuka, and he's got a first down out near the 30-yard line on a gain of about 12 yards. Smedley forced him out. Take a look at the Michigan offense. Mercury Hayes, one of the wide receivers on the flank that can make a play downfield. It is a very good offensive line led by All-America candidate Joe Marinero. Bianca Batuka last week, I should say 2 weeks ago, rushed for 205 yards in the loss to Northwestern, a career high. And as Randy pointed out, while Sean Glover, the Indiana tailback, today will work primarily between the tackles, Bianca Batuka can strike from inside or outside.
And sometimes it starts out inside and winds up outside. Unfortunately for the defense, he has good balance, excellent speed, very good vision. He also last week, or 2 weeks ago against Northwestern, their last game, had a career high in carries, 34 carries, and looked stronger as the game went on versus how he looked in the first quarter.
One of the officials shaken up on the play, and we'll be back after these messages.
Union Board, Coach 38.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Great sports sites. The #1 sports site on the net.
Presenting the BMW 7 Series, a luxury car with the soul of a BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
He has Michigan with a first down at the Wolverine 30-yard line. Indiana leading in the early going of the first quarter by the score of 3-0. Tight end Campbell moves to the line on the right side. Biakabatuka, the lone option behind Gracie, and this is a good option indeed. Tim Biakabatuka down the sideline to Indiana's 30 and forced out of bounds inside the 25. At the 23-yard line, Joey Ellums forced him out of play. We've talked about the Indiana defense, Randy, with the coaches here this weekend. It is a defense that comes in ranked very well in most yardage categories, but one area that has been very concerning is that Indiana has given up big plays, that time a 47-yard run.
We talked about Biakabatuka being able to start off inside, break it to the outside, no secondary support for Indiana to come up and make the hit. That's why there was such a long run on it.
Indiana ranked 7th overall against the run defensively, and Biakabatuka found a pretty nice crease to the outside. Getting the call for Michigan, Chris Floyd, a 6'1", 220-pound sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, for short yardage down near the 20-yard line. The Indiana defense, John Hammerstein, his brother was an All-America on the Michigan defensive line a few years ago. Jabbar Robinson is the freshman. We spoke of him a few moments ago on special teams. He must step up in the linebacking corps. Aaron Warnicki leads a good pair of safeties. Smedley and Warnicki, two of the harder-hitting safeties in the Big Ten. There is Jabbar Robinson, number 55, just a freshman, a true freshman out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Michigan on a second down. It's about 9 yards to go. Gracie to pass. Robinson with some pressure, and they set up the screen nicely. This is Chris Howard inside the 10-yard line for a Michigan first down. Take a look at the blitz. Robinson, a clear shot to the quarterback.
When you set up a screen like that, you want to let the defenders come in there towards your quarterback, but generally you like to get a quick chuck on them. This is something you won't see very often for Michigan, throwing the ball to their backs. As a unit this entire season, only 9 receptions have gone to the running backs.
Gain of 13 on that play. First and goal at the 9-yard line of Indiana for the Wolverines. Mercury Hayes, the man in motion. Gracie to Biakabatuka to Hayes, who bobbled on the reverse, but they still may get positive yardage, and they do, inside the 2-yard line. Usually when you see a collision in the backfield like that, they lose the timing on the play, but that time it was so well blocked up front, Randy, that they were able to pick up some positive yardage.
That's the key point right there, Wayne. It was so well set up and blocked up front that Hayes had a chance here to recover the bobble and still get his vision upfield and see the play, see it develop, and make some positive yardage out of it.
Iowa gained big yardage on a reverse against the Indiana defense a week ago, so not surprising that we see it from Michigan early. Inside the 2-yard line, second and goal, Michigan. Straight T formation to the backfield. Looking for running room to the outside, and that is Ed Davis, the backup tailback. Warnicki made the stop on the play. Virtually no gain, and Michigan facing third down and goal to go inside the 2. It should be pointed out, Michigan had first and goal at the 1-yard line 2 weeks ago against Northwestern, unable to get it into the end zone.
Had 3 cracks and couldn't get it in there and had to settle for the field goal. There's a big play in the game early. Could set it up for the Indiana defense to set a tone right here.
Will Carr is the big blocking back out there, a defensive lineman, but this time Indiana swarms to the football. Nowhere to go for Ed Davis. Eric Allen led the charge of Hoosiers. A loss of about 4, back to the 5, and Michigan facing fourth down.
Sometimes you give the running back the ball down on the goal line and you tell him he's just got to find a way to get it into the end zone. Right here, nobody blocked Eric Allen. He was right in the alley where the hole was supposed to be. Ed Davis had absolutely no place to go. Did a nice job just to hold on to the ball.
Remy Hamilton for a 22-yard field goal attempt. He's 4 of 4 from inside the 30 this season. And he's got this ball game tied with 10-17 left to go. In this first quarter, Indiana and Michigan are tied at 3 apiece. And Randy, in the straight T formation that we saw on that goal line play, they brought in defensive lineman Will Carr, put him on the left side of the formation. That's where they ran, and I wondered, did they tip off Indiana's defense because they swarmed to the football like they knew where it was going?
It's a possibility that they did, but I just saw Eric Allen come through there untouched as though there was a blown assignment because there was nobody assigned to get him. There was nobody that tried to block him. He just did a nice job of stepping up there and making the play. A couple of minutes ago, Wayne, we talked about Indiana getting the field goal. Maybe both sides being happy about that. here, I think Indiana's elated that Michigan had to settle for the field goal, and I don't think Coach Carr is very happy over on that Michigan sideline. They needed a touchdown. Their goal line woes have continued from their last game into the early going here today.
7-play, 78-yard Michigan drive took 2 minutes and 35 seconds off the clock and resulted in the field goal by Remy Hamilton of 22 yards. So Michigan getting set to kick off. Jay Feely, Ajamu Stoner back deep, along with Joey Ellums. And here's the approach and the kickoff. Kind of a line drive kick that bounces across the 10. And it is Ellums who took it at the goal line. Stumbled at the 10, slips a defender to the 15, and is brought down short of the 20, right at the 15-yard line. Jay Feely, the place kicker, the man who escorted him to the chalk marks on the near side. And it's about a 15-yard return.
So far, this game has gone pretty much as planned. If you're both offensive coordinators running the football, I don't believe there's been a pass thrown yet today.
So far, they haven't had to go to the air. Well, there's been one screen pass thrown by Michigan, but that's been it. There's the last drive by Indiana. 7 yards on 3 plays, resulting in the field goal. Of course, the 68-yard kickoff return set that up. Glover running inside the tackles, and he's met by Steele. Glenn Steele, an Indiana native in the Michigan defense, made the stop, no gain. Let's get down to the sidelines. Jim Barber.
Wayne, Adam Greenlee, one tough quarterback. How tough, you ask? In a practice, he got belted in the chin by one of the linemen. It requires 5 stitches at the time. He kept playing. Afterwards, went back and got the stitches. Each lineman said to each other, hey, that's a tough guy. Linemen like those kind of things, I guess.
They sure do.
When you're a backup quarterback, you're not going to let anything get you out if you get a chance to play.
Second down, a little bit less than 10 yards to go. There was some movement on the right side of the offensive line. It looked like Clay Williams came up a snap too early.
Penalty flag.
Turnovers and penalties are factors that...
False start, on the offense. 5 yards, repeat, second down.
That Indiana, a team today playing on such a fine line against a club like Michigan, can ill afford.
They can't afford the kind of penalties that are not forced because of aggression. If they're flying around, they're trying to make a play, those penalties will happen. The lack of concentration penalties is what will drive a coach crazy.
Greenlee's a 5th-year senior out of Columbus, and he looks to the air here, and he had his man. He hit the tight end, Darren Ward, right between the 8 and the 9 on his jersey.
That sets up a big play right here. 3rd and 14. Greenlee, not very much experience. Even though he's a senior, doesn't have a lot of experience reading defenses. You don't want to make a mistake back here in your own end of the end zone. I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana runs a draw, a screen, a very low-risk play that gives the back or receiver a chance to make the play. I'm not convinced they'll let him throw the ball 15 yards downfield.
Lee and Glover are the running backs. That's Matthews. Good speed to the top of your screen. Stoner on the bottom at wide receiver. Greenlee on 3rd and long. They screen it out to Glover, and he's caught from behind. Nice play. The ball popped loose, but I believe that play had been whistled dead at the 12-yard line. Will Carr got over there in defense for Michigan.
Good safe play, Wayne. Just a screen to the sideline. You get the ball to Glover, who is used to carrying it, has linemen in front of him, used to running with blockers in front of him. Not really a great opportunity to make the first down, but if he busts something, things can happen. But a low-risk play, not much bad can happen there.
Alan Sidkowski on in punt formation. He is 16th nationally, 2nd in the Big Ten in punting at 43.1 yards per punt. And Michigan has the return on. Sidkowski gets off a pretty good punt right here. Toomer makes the first man miss. Gets the corner. And he's got some real estate in Indiana territory. Matter of fact, he's going all the way to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Michigan. 57-yard return. Amani Toomer, and Michigan takes the lead, 9-3.
Maybe that's one reason why Michigan has their starting wide receivers on their special teams, because they can make plays happen. Toomer makes the first man miss, then gets behind the protection. Right there, you see him make the first man miss, and then he sees the wall setting up over here, picks up some very, very good blocks. And then Allen right there, number 27, a defensive back, has to make that open field tackle. When he misses that, not really anybody left to stop Toomer.
Point after by Remy Hamilton. Penalty markers are down, and the kick is through the uprights and good. Penalty markers down to the play. Michigan has taken the lead on a big play by Amani Toomer. 57-yard punt return for a touchdown. Penalty markers are down. I believe it's against Indiana, and it might be assessed on the ensuing kickoff. Jim Kimmerling.
Encroachment on the defense will be assessed on the kickoff. The point is good.
And so with 8:18 left to go first quarter, Michigan has the lead at 10-3.
56-yard kickoff.
Two big special teams plays have highlighted this ball game here in the early going.
Amani Toomer, number 18 of Michigan.
Well, Toomer sets this up very well. As he catches the ball and breaks to the outside, he sucks the Indiana defense in. He gets behind the wall, and then it's just physical ability, breaking tackles, putting on moves, and right here with that speed, nobody's going to catch him from behind.
The kickoff return to start the ball game by Ajamo Stoner is the other big play on special teams.
And another starting wide receiver back there. They're used to catching the ball and trying to make something happen. Again, physical ability, breaking tackles. This time, though, with Stoner, he gets caught from behind.
Randy, it's somewhat unusual that starting wide receivers would be back returning kicks for teams, especially when you figure the injury factor that's involved. But these two schools have long been doing this, haven't they?
They have been for many years. And if you think back, that's how Ty Wheatley, the great running back for Michigan, hurt his shoulder, was covering a punt. That's what caused it to be separated and was out for many years, or for many games. Hadn't changed the thinking of Michigan. Coach Mallory also has adapted that way of thinking because they do want their best playmakers back there. Give them the ball as many times as you can and as many opportunities as you can to make something happen.
Absolutely. You get a game-breaking type talent on the special teams, and it gives you a little bit more of a punch rather than just using him on one team like the offense. You put him on special teams, and maybe you get another big play there.
Especially a game like today where with Gracie quarterbacking coming into the game as a backup and with a banged-up shoulder, you don't know how many times he's going to be able to get the ball to Toomer and Hayes.
Jay Feely has it on the tee, and we're just about set to go. And from the 40-yard line off the penalty, gets off an end-over-end kick. Toomer right through his fingertips into the end zone, and Indiana will accept at the 20-yard line first down.
Indiana will put the ball in.
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber, and our creative sports crew in Bloomington, Indiana. Great to have you with us. And it is a typical, I guess, late October afternoon. Overcast, kind of damp and cool here.
Late October. This is early December kind of weather.
Well, we're a hardy bunch here in the Big Ten. Matter of fact, if the sun came out, it would be downright balmy. Indiana Hoosiers trailing now for the first time this afternoon, 10-3, with 8:18 to go in the first quarter. Glover's the lone setback. And some play action. Greenlee with time. Had a man wide open, Darren Ward, behind the linebacker coverage of Mike Elston near the 30-yard line. The pass overthrown, so a second down and 10 coming up.
The hardest thing, Wayne, for a quarterback to get that hasn't played very much is touch on the ball. You can read things and you can see things right between you and the receiver. But here, as Greenlee drops back, he sees his receiver. He's got to lob it over the defender. Right there you see Elston, the outside linebacker, number 5. He's right in between Ward and Greenlee. Greenlee's got to throw that ball with touch. That's the hardest thing for a quarterback without experience to pick up quickly.
Also, Indiana perhaps stepping out of what it had planned to do today a little bit and passing on first down there. Now they're 2nd and 10. Greenlee to Glover, and Glover upended after a gain of 2 yards out to the 22-yard line. Elston, the linebacker, came in quickly along with William Carr on that defensive line. He'd been going by Will Carr for the first couple of years of his career, and his mother then one day asked him, why are all these TV guys calling you Will? Your name is William, so we'll call him William.
A guy that's his size, 270 pounds, if he wants to be called William, we'll call him William.
Gain of 1 on that play. They mark it out of the 21-yard line. 3rd and 9 now for Greenlee and company. There are the third down conversions, 39% for Indiana. Out of the shotgun. Stoner is the man in motion. And the rush is on. Greenlee can run. Good running quarterback. Got a first down and more. Out near the 35-yard line on a gain of 14 yards. Clarence Thompson responded from the secondary.
The one thing Adam Greenlee has over Chris Ditto is his ability to improvise. They don't have a quarterback draw in their offense. This is their quarterback draw. When it opens up, you take it, you run it. Physical ability that there. A nice move on Marcus Ray, the free safety, in order to continue the run and pick up that first down. Nice play by Greenlee, seeing that open in front of him and then making it happen.
Greenlee had rushed 28 times for 62 yards coming into this afternoon's game.
Thought that was interesting, talking about no quarterback draw. When you see it, you take it.
From the Indiana 35, Glover draws a crowd near the line of scrimmage. He got barely a yard. One of the reasons why we saw a pass on first down earlier in this drive, Randy, was probably due to the fact that Indiana is not getting much on the ground on first down against this Michigan defense.
And they would like to be able to run the ball for 4 or 5 yards. So therefore, on second down, they can stay in rhythm. When they don't get any positive yardage on first down, then it makes it much harder to run and still get good yardage on second down. So they need to mix things up.
Hoosiers have a second down and 10 at the 35-yard line in their own territory. Greenlee, good protection initially. And the pass off the mark. And again, it looked like he had this time the fullback, Steve Lee, on the linebacker coverage by Mike Elston. And he was open had that pass been on the mark.
He looked like, as Lee was breaking to the outside, he was not real well covered. There was certainly an area to get the ball to Lee, although had Lee caught it, he wasn't going to pick up the first down, but it would have been a 4 or 5 yard gain. The same as running a sweep when you throw the ball to the flat to one of your backs. That would have given them a 3rd and short and a much better opportunity to pick up the first down versus now at 3rd and 10.
4 wide receivers in the formation. From the shotgun, Adam Greenlee. Jay Sive with the snap. Greenlee, the deep drop. Got his man who slips near the 39-yard line short of the first down. The running back, Sean Glover, on the reception. A gain of 4 yards. It is 4th down and 6 coming up for Indiana.
Well, one thing that Adam Greenlee needs to realize early is you don't need to get a big play on every play. If it's 2nd and 10, throw the 5-yard pass. So now it's 3rd and 5. That would have allowed them to pick up the first down. You don't need to get it all on one play. Play within the framework of the offense.
Sidkowski on in punt formation. Toomer went the distance the last punt. This one has good leverage into it, and Toomer's going to let it hit near the 35, and it takes a Hoosier bounce inside the 25-yard line, and the Hoosiers down at near the 21. Where it'll be first down for the Michigan Wolverines. Big plays have highlighted our action so far. Michigan has the lead.
Here we go. Whopper Junior Value Meal. Whopper for me and a double Whopper.
Thanks, man.
Double Whopper. I'm scared of you.
It's good. It's as big as the American way. Big cars, big houses, big food.
At Burger King, get the flame-broiled taste of a Whopper value meal for just your size appetite at just your size price, starting at $1.99. And get your burger's worth.
And what about moderation?
Moderation's cool, if there's a whole lot of it.
Burger King, get your burger's worth.
We didn't put Dodge Intrepid's windshield in the usual place. We moved it forward and down to enhance visibility and aerodynamics. The wheels were moved toward the corners to make it more stable. And now many features that were options are standard. So even though Intrepid has air, speed control, power windows, and more, the price isn't where you'd expect to find it either. It's lower. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
Hi, I'm Alex from Indiana University, and you're watching Big Ten football on Creative Sports. So say hi to Wayne and Randy. Let's go.
We appreciate it. We've enjoyed the hospitality down here in Bloomington. First down for the Michigan Wolverines. The football just across their 20-yard line. They lead by a touchdown, 10-3. 5:37 left to go in this first quarter. Brian Gracie, the starter at quarterback. Bianca Batuka, the tailback in this formation. George Howell, the fullback. Bianca Batuka makes one man miss in the backfield and gets it out near the 25-yard line. Looks to be a gain of about 4 yards. Matt Surface, the linebacker, made the stop for Indiana.
Eric Allen, number 27, the cornerback for Indiana, coming on a corner blitz that time, sees the play develop, has a chance to make the tackle in the backfield, and even though he didn't make the tackle, slowed the running back down enough to where the other players could come there and make that tackle. Good play by Allen. He's the guy out of the secondary that's going to be called upon to put pressure in the offensive backfield.
Second down. Bianca Batuka going wide, and not a whole lot there. Good pursuit by the Indiana defense, led by Victor Alate on the outside. He was the principal defender on the play. Maybe a gain of a half yard out near the 25.
Running a sweep into the short side of the field. If you get good corner support, there's not enough room for that running back to be able to make a lot of moves and find a hole. Good corner support that time by Allen. Close that run down.
Indiana opponents are converting just 29.6% of their third down plays coming into this afternoon's action. It's third down for Michigan. Third down at about 6. Indiana showing a blitz. They back out of there. 4-man rush. Gracie hit as he throws. First down out across the 30-yard line. Outstanding catch and run by Jeremy Tooman to pick it up. Lane Baisley made the stop on the play. Let's go to the studio. Mike Gleason.
Well, Wayne, it's raining buckets in Columbus, but the defense comes through. Ohio State's Mike Vrabel breaks through, blocks the Boilermaker punt, leads to a 2-yard Eddie George touchdown. Bucks on top of Purdue, 7-zip in the first. Let's go back to Bloomington.
A little bit of weather, a little bit better weather here, Mike. We've got overcast and cool, but so far it's been dry. Michigan operating on a first down at its 35. There's the pitch. The running back going wide this time, and not a whole lot there. Clarence Williams got the call. The true freshman out of Detroit, Michigan. Nathan Davis made the stop for Indiana. Davis is one of the few big playmakers they have on this defense.
And he does a nice job, Wayne, of stretching this play out. He gets penetration up here. You see Surface 47 on the outside. Doesn't let Williams get to the outside. And Davis, after stretching it, comes off and makes the tackle. Good play both by Surface not to let him get to the outside and Davis to make the play.
At a loss of 3, second down and about 13 yards to go now. The tight end Campbell in motion for Michigan. And again Williams going wide, and again Indiana responding with Nathan Davis, the junior from Richmond, Indiana. At Iowa last week, 7 tackles, 3 behind the line of scrimmage. Well, he's had 2 behind the line of scrimmage on this particular series of downs. It's a loss of another couple of yards.
Sets up a big third down play for Brian Gracie. 3rd and 17. This is a quarterback, Wayne, that hasn't played very much and was hurt the last time. Missed several days of practice since the last game. Not used to seeing things develop. Can't afford to make a mistake right here.
That's where they go when they do go to the air. Wide receivers primarily. They've got a 3rd and 17 in Gracie. Under some pressure, screens it out, and the pass off the mark. Jabbar Robinson provided the coverage, but the rush put on by Jason Taylor, who buried Gracie.
Well, Fred Jackson was not going to put Brian Gracie in a position to make a mistake. A little screen out here to a back. Not what Michigan does very well. Throw the ball to the back. That time he came through there, got some pressure on him, had to throw the ball. Kaler got the pressure, had to throw the ball before he was ready. The screen never had time to develop.
Fun formation time for Michigan. Nate DeLong. And this one, he kind of shanks off the side of his foot. It does take a Michigan hop, and this one will turn out a lot better than it looked at the start. So Indiana will start near its 32-yard line with the 1st and 10. 2:24 to go in the first. Michigan leading Indiana by 7.
Has the popularity of NASCAR racing left you wondering what's all the excitement about?
You compare the power!
If you're curious about racing, you need the NASCAR Handbook, a video guide to Winston Cup. This easy-to-understand home video explains everything you need to know to enjoy America's favorite sport. To order, just send $14.98 plus $4 handling to the address on the screen or call toll-free 1-800-764-5441. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
It's not a payphone. It's a window to your family. It's a monitor to the stock market. It's a weather report, a movie guide, a tool to help you manage your life.
Today, this tool works in new ways that may surprise you, but only if you're careful which one you choose. It makes a difference in what you pay and how you're served. This isn't just any payphone. It's Ameritech. Ameritech, your link to better communication.
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber is down on the sidelines. Michigan leading Indiana. There is Coach Bill Mallory. Mallory, 26 years a head coach. 3 of his sons now are coaching. All 3 of his sons are coaching, one of whom coaching here at Indiana.
What a tribute to your dad when your 3 sons all follow what you did.
First down from the 32. Greenlee looks to the air. Pass underthrown, intended for Jamu Stoner. And we talked about Bill's sons. Mike, 2-time All-Big Ten at Michigan. Doug, of course, is coaching here, and Kurt played in 1989. A career ended by an injury up at Michigan. All 3 of the Mallory sons played in the Michigan program.
He was telling us all 3 of them have become coaches, and you want to look at them and say, why? There's so much work, and there's so much required upon you. You want to ask why.
Well, Mike, again, Doug, of course, is here. Kurt, well, he's out coaching as an assistant, and I believe Mike's at Rhode Island, if I'm not mistaken, as an assistant coach. Greenlee going deep again. He's got a man out there, and it is Stoner who picks up the first down. On 2nd down and 10, Indiana comes up throwing, and they get 10 yards to the first down just across the 42-yard line.
First down and 10. They ran a play very similar to this. It was underthrown. Here, it was open the first time. Come right back to it. Stoner does a nice job of running off the freshman cornerback, Woodson. Good speed that Stoner has. Makes Woodson think deep. Creates a big cushion.
First down for Indiana. Football near the 43-yard line. Glover is the lone back. They've got the fullback, Steve Lee, on the wing right side. Here's Glover. Trying to seal off the blocking with the fullback, Lee. Go around the big tackle, Clay Williams, but nothing there. Steve King came up in support. There's a flag down. It looked like Michigan encroached on the play.
So far, Greenlee doing a nice job of changing his cadence, going on early counts, late counts, keeping that Michigan defensive line guessing. It's worked very well.
Encroachment on the defense. 5 yards. Repeat. First down.
Watch the cadence here. You'll see his head bobble just a little bit. Right there, you see the Michigan defensive linemen start to jump off as they are listening to him and hearing. The best tool the quarterback has is to use his voice, fluctuate that voice, get those defensive linemen, because as much as you're taught as a lineman to watch the ball, instinctively you're listening to the quarterback.
It was Will Carr who jumped into the neutral zone, and he was down on one knee and just couldn't quite get up in time to get back before the snap.
It's William Carr.
Yeah, William, right. Whatever he wants.
Whatever.
1st and 5. Penalty markers down here. They hold up the action. Looked like Indiana's going to give Michigan that 5 yards back. Might have been the right guard who moved prematurely on the play. So they bring it back, and it's 1st down and 10 now. Take a look at it, see if we can pick it up.
I think it's going to be your right guard, number 62. Just looked like he got an early start. Didn't look like he lost his poise and jumped. Anticipating the count a little bit too quickly there. Started pulling a little early.
Greg Jenkins, redshirt freshman on the Indiana offensive line. 1st down and 10 now for the Hoosiers. Back where this series began originally. Little play action to Glover. Delivers a nice block. And this time they finally hook up with Darren Ward. They've missed him a couple of times, but Greenlee put that pass on the money. Boy, I tell you, Sean Glover, though, the tailback, delivered a nice block to allow that play to happen.
Play action. As he comes off, he throws the block, gives his quarterback a chance to throw the ball. The play action holds the linebackers in there. He comes up, Greenlee looking for one man, Darren Ward, right after the play action. That guy's there. If he's not there, he's probably going to look to run. Darren Ward has been a big surprise, very pleasant surprise for Indiana this year. He has come on, a junior, played very, very well at that tight end position.
16 yards on the play for Indiana to the Michigan 41, and Glover running straight ahead. Tried to break one tackle and get short yardage down near the 39, a gain of a couple of yards. Mid portion of that defense stacked it up nicely. Let's go to Mike Gleason. Northwestern, Wisconsin are underway. Mike, what do you have?
Well, Wayne, the Wildcats continue to get it done. 4th and goal. Steve Schnur goes up and over for the touchdown. Wildcats 7-0 over the Badgers. Let's go back to Wayne and Randy.
How about that Northwestern?
It was interesting. In the hotel this morning, people saw I was from Wisconsin, and they were talking about Wisconsin beating Northwestern, and they couldn't do it. And I said, if you played them again, could you beat them again? And a lot of the people said no. They thought Northwestern would beat them again.
Beat Michigan again?
Correct.
In the big house? I don't know. Lee, the reception on the toss from Greenlee, who with each passing play is gaining a little more confidence and accuracy. Pick up on that play of about 5 yards.
And that may not look like a big play, but it gives Indiana now a 3rd and 5. They can stay in what their offense is designed to do. Pick up 5, 6, 7 yards at a crack, whether it be give the ball to Glover or throw the ball into the flat. That's what they've had the most success to. So even though that doesn't look like a big gain, it accomplished what they wanted it to.
First quarter comes to a close here in Bloomington. The 3 points by Indiana are the first points that Michigan's defense has given up in the first quarter of any of their games this season.
Yeah, life's competitive, all right. Win or lose, doesn't matter. It's how you look at the finish line.
Get there first.
There's a lot of shoes in this wall. Better let me help you. After all, I'm always going to be waiting on you at the finish line.
Get there first. Expect a car like this to specify a premium gasoline like Crystal Clear Amoco Ultimate. But you might be surprised to learn that a premium like Ultimate is also recommended for optimum performance in this vehicle. And this one. Plus, Ultimate is formulated without certain harmful impurities. No wonder Amoco always seems to travel in the best circles. Crystal Clear Amoco Ultimate.
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber at the house. That's what they call Memorial Stadium here in Bloomington, Indiana. Michigan leading 10-3, and the Indiana Hoosiers on the drive with a 3rd down and 5 coming up. You wonder here, Randy, if they're in, we were talking, if they're in 4-down territory, if Manilopoulos, shaken up early in this game, is unable to kick field goals today. Maybe they are in 4-down territory.
I think they're discussing that right now over there on the sideline. They've got 2 plays in order to pick up these 5 yards. If this is going to be a pass play, they're telling Greenlee, don't force it, throw it away, let us come back and try for it on 4th down.
So Greenlee and the Hoosiers huddled up, and now they're ready to go. Stoner and Eric Matthews are wide to the right side of the formation. That's Rich Kearney, a possession receiver at the bottom of your screen. This play may go to him. Greenlee over the middle. Got a 1st down to the 25-yard line. Good play made by Glover on the reception. Copenhaver, the tackle for Michigan.
What a well-designed play. Split the formation with the 3 wideouts. Spread that Michigan defense. Glover comes out of the backfield, just settles right there in that hole. Does a nice job of not continuing to run full speed and cover himself by the linebackers. Finds the pocket, sits right there.
10-yard gain on the play. Take a look at the numbers first quarter. Indiana, 9-12 time of possession. That's what the Hoosiers wanted to do at the outset today. Control the clock and shorten this game. 1st down. Indiana on the drive. Glover trying to get wide, and good defense by Michigan. Clarence Thompson forced that play, and along with Sam Sword on the defensive line. Let's go down to Jim Barber. Jim, what do you have for us?
Well, here's the latest on Chris Ditto, who would like to be starting today. In fact, he's told a number of people, I'll be back for Penn State. Bill Mallory says, not so fast. He has seen Chris run during the week, still a little gimpy, still dragging that leg. It could still be more than a week before the starting quarterback returns.
All right, thank you, Jim. It'll be a welcome return when Chris Ditto gets back into the lineup. Alex Smith also is a guy that's trying to get back in. He's got fractured ribs. He's hoping to maybe play for Penn State. 2nd down and about 11. Over the middle. Oh, man. Stoner tipped that ball into the air. Pass thrown behind him, but that is dangerous when you're over the middle and you got a tip ball with all those defenders around.
Glover does a nice job giving his quarterback a chance to get this ball off. He comes and picks up, irons the linebacker on the left side, puts his helmet right on him. Now you see the pass. You see Stoner coming open. The ball, as you said, Wayne, thrown high and behind him. You see those balls over the middle that get tipped up in the air, intercepted more times than not.
Third down for Indiana. Third and about 11. Football just outside the 27 of Michigan. From the shotgun, Greenlee. Blitz is on. No time to get that pass off with any kind of accuracy whatsoever. Clarence Thompson coming hard on that blitz for the Michigan Wolverines.
We just talked about how good Glover did picking up the blitz. This time he's on the right side of your screen. You'll see Thompson come in from the right side, and Glover never sees him. Glover steps up and picks up a man that is already assigned. That allows Thompson to come through clean. Doesn't give Greenlee the chance to sit there, read the coverage, and throw the ball.
Indiana, we talked to 4-down territory before, perhaps 4 down again here. Greenlee and company going for it. 4th and 11. Greenlee on the deep drop, trying to thread it over the middle. Clarence Thompson, the interception for the Michigan Wolverines, who will take over at the 16 or 17-yard line. However, had that pass gone incomplete, they would have gotten the football back near the 26.
Should have been just batted down, as you said. Michigan would have wound up with better field position. To go back to the throw, you can't throw the ball late over the middle. Thompson does a nice job coming underneath the receiver right there. Wilkerson jumped on the ball, looked in the backfield, saw the quarterback throwing it. You throw it late over the middle. You see 2 Michigan players there had a chance to really intercept that pass, not just Thompson.
And you can't blame the guy for making the interception. You're trained, if you're a defensive back, to intercept the football. It doesn't really matter. Get the football, first priority. Good pursuit by Nathan Davis. He truly is one of the outstanding defensive linemen of the Big Ten Conference as he brings down Biakabatuka after a gain of maybe a yard.
Earlier in the game, Wayne, you had said when we were talking about Nathan Davis that he's one of the few playmakers on this Indiana team. They have had a lot of players play good, solid football, but they haven't had many big names, guys that have made big plays. I agree with you. I think Davis is one, and so far we've seen him make 3 or 4.
The Indiana defense has just 10 takeaways this season coming into this week's action. That's the low of the Big Ten. Biakabatuka out near the 25-yard line on a gain of about 8 yards. Jabbar Robinson made the stop. Eric Smedley was also there.
Excellent job blocking on Davis this time. 84, the tight end, Vanderleest, does a good job turning him out and giving Biakabatuka a chance to get through that hole untouched.
Michigan will play about 4 tight ends at different junctures here today. It's a 3rd down and about 3. A little bit less than 3. Gracie on play action. Got a man in the flat, Chris Howard, and he's out of bounds with a 1st down near the 34-yard line of Michigan. Make that Hayes on the reception. Jamar Robinson forced him out of bounds to the near side.
Michigan will use their wideouts and their #1 tight end, Riemersma, a lot like teams use the backs. We've talked about the fact they don't throw to their backs very much. Their starters only have 4 receptions, but their 2 wideouts and their tight end have 63 receptions among them.
Hayes on a gain of 9 yards off that pass play and a 1st down for Michigan. This is Floyd, the fullback, running hard, and he's got about 9 yards out across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
Even though Michigan is picking up some 1st downs and moving the chains, Indiana is a bend, don't break kind of defense. They don't want to give up that big play. We've already seen Biakabatuka break a long run that set up the first field goal. They want to keep them here, force them into a mistake or a turnover. Don't give up that huge run again.
Keep everything in front, right?
Absolutely.
2nd down and short now for Gracie. And Floyd gets the call again. This time, the Indiana defense stacks it up. Eric Allen made the final hit on the play that brought a stop to that, but good pursuit up the middle by Indiana's defense.
Defenses are taught everybody go to the ball. This is a good reason why. You see Floyd just about to break off this tackle. If Eric Allen isn't there, he's going to make a big run out of that. And because of the coaching, everybody get there. Everybody pursuit of the ball. He's there to make the tackle when Floyd would have broken away.
He only needed a yard for the 1st down. Let's see if he got it. They're bringing out the chains right now.
Now, that's the kind of play that as you look at it on Monday or as these fans leave the game, it doesn't look like that big a play. But if Eric Allen isn't there to make that hit, that could be a 25, 35-yard run, and then it is a big play.
Crowd not happy with the spot of the ball that allowed for the first down by half the length of the football for the Michigan Wolverines, or thereabouts. Michigan has done well on first down here this afternoon, averaging almost 10 yards per play.
Makes that second down call so much easier.
Opens up your options if you're a quarterback. Biaka Batuka. Not a lot of room there. You got nothing like 9 yards. You got something like 2 or 3 at the most. And again, the mid-portion of that defense for Indiana. Playing very fired-up football.
Well, with Brian Gracie having an injured shoulder coming into this game, Indiana needs to put him in a second and long. We just showed the graphic. Their second down calls have been very, very easy calls because it's been second and short. They need to get him in more situations like this. 2nd and 7, make him throw the ball down the field.
Gracie with split backs. Indiana showing a blitz. They back out of there. Gracie has time. Screens it out to Biaka Batuka. But he got erased on that play. My goodness. Victor Alate and Roger Murray coming in to make hits. Let's get down to the sideline. Jim Barber, there was some question this morning as to who Michigan was going to start at quarterback.
Yes, indeed, Wayne. In fact, Lloyd Carr's a pretty good card player. He would not indicate who he was going to start. How did he determine who would start today's game? He said he was going to look each quarterback in the eye. Apparently, Gracie was the one that didn't blink.
All right. The other one is his son, too, Jason Carr.
It's exactly right. 3rd and 5, Michigan. Near the midfield marker. Indiana on a blitz. Oh, they picked it up well, and Toomer could not hang on. Gracie made the right throw. Michigan picked up the blitz, but Toomer could not hang on to the pass.
You can't call a play any better than this. You're running a little pick play right here. The tight end comes across, picks the man covering Toomer. You've got Indiana in the perfect coverage. A blitz, man-to-man. There was nobody between Toomer and the end zone. That's right. What drives an offensive coordinator crazy. Everything goes well, you just don't catch the ball.
Nate DeLong's punt. Karam's across the 20. Stoner slipped across the 20, out near the 23, where Indiana will put it in play. Jeff Springer on the coverage for Michigan. 9:56 left to go on an overcast afternoon in this first half.
3 out of 4 new car radiators are made of aluminum, thin, lightweight, and under tremendous stress. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone Zone. The Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
More room. More power. More luxury. More Civic. For less than you think. Ask your Honda dealer about the full line of new Civics. He'll tell you more.
Mike Gleason back in the Big Ten studios, coming up at halftime. Scores and highlights from all over the country, including that Northwestern-Wisconsin matchup, plus Purdue and Ohio State, and a look at our Centennial Yearbook. That's coming up at halftime. Now let's go back to Wayne and Randy.
Thank you, Mike. Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber's down to the sidelines trying to keep warm. Indiana takes over offensively, trailing by 7. From the 23-yard line in Hoosier territory. I mentioned it's overcast, kind of cold, a raw afternoon here. The wind not as bad as we expected it would be. It was blowing pretty well through here yesterday. They forecasted some wind today, but it's not having a large effect on this game. And so far, it has not rained. Adam Greenlee off play action. Lots of time. Has a man open, and a reception across the 40-yard line. Jamo Stoner coming back for it in front of the coverage of Clarence Thompson. And Stoner, the wide receiver, Randy, used his body very well on this play.
And it starts with protection. Greenlee back here after the play action gets plenty of time to stand in there, let the play develop. When you're throwing a pass that far downfield, it takes a lot of time for the receiver to get down there. Greenlee does a nice job getting the ball to the outside, and as you said, Stoner does a good job of keeping his body between the defender and the ball so the defender can't come through and knock it down.
For a 20-yard gain to the 43-yard line, first down, Indiana. Michigan on a blitz, and they were coming a little early. Will Card jumped into the neutral zone. I wonder if they were drawn off, though, by movement prematurely on the line.
Dead ball. False start on the offense.
And that was the case against Indiana. Looked like Sidkowski, the left guard, perhaps moved. And once he moves like that, that allows 96 William Carr to come across.
Well, if William Carr gets called again for movement without being drawn off sides, he's going to get a talking to over on the sideline.
Exactly. First and 15, and Greenlee looks to the air and first down again. Oh, he should take this, but he slipped and fell. There's the factor of this ball game is the cool weather, the rain we've had in the area here over the last couple of days, and it's a pretty slick field out there. We've seen several players go down.
Especially, Wayne, when you look at where the field is painted, the hash marks, the yard stripes, the numbers, when it gets cold and wet, those get very, very hard, become very slippery.
Around 40,000 on hand here this afternoon in Indiana on a cool day, and Greenlee facing a second down. He got about 3 yards on that play. Second and 13. Greenlee with a pass to the short side of the field, tried to hit Lee, the fullback, and the pass led him a bit too much. Underneath the coverage that time of Jarrett Irons, the junior from Woodlands, Texas. His dad played in the NFL. Good linebacker in the NFL, Gerald Irons, many may remember.
Jarrett Irons is following in those footsteps. He's been outstanding here at Michigan. Still only a junior. Seems like he's been playing for 3 or 4 years already, but got another year left to go, and it's really developed this year. When Michigan, as we said earlier, switched to that 4-3 defense, it really gave him a chance to roam and make some plays, and he's responded very well.
Second down, or make it third down and passing for Indiana. Matthews makes the catch, but not a big enough gain for the first down. Coverage provided by Chuck Winters, the nickel back in the Michigan defense. It is fourth down near the 45-yard line for Indiana, about 8 yards to go.
Good coverage that time by the Michigan secondary. They were going to give the receivers 5 or 6 yards. Winters that time let the receiver make the catch in front of him, came up and made the sure tackle.
Sidkowski had 7 punts at Iowa, just 3 return yards. Well, that number was marred by a punt return for a touchdown by Amani Toomer earlier. And now this may be for delay a game, I would think. Well, no, they still had 14 on the play clock. Perhaps some movement up front, and Michigan came off sides.
There was some movement as Michigan was adjusting to their defensive.
False start on the offense.
Michigan moving around, adjusting to their defensive punt rush here, caused Indiana to jump a little bit early.
So the 5-yard penalty means that Sidkowski will be kicking 5 yards deeper and will need a bigger punt here to allow Indiana's defense to garner decent field position against that Michigan offense. Fourth down now for the Indiana Hoosiers. And here's the snap. Well, they almost got to it that time. A high kick, fair catch signal made. Smedley knocked over Toomer. That was a late signal, I thought, on the fair catch, but nonetheless, contact made, and it'll be a penalty against Indiana, I believe.
I agree with you, Wayne. They're definitely going to call Smedley for interfering here with Toomer, but that was a very late signal and a very quick signal. You need to put your hand above your head and wave it, and that happened very, very quickly.
Interference with a fair catch. Let's see if we can pick it up again. It appeared to us, to the naked eye, there's the fair catch signal. Meanwhile, Smedley's already within 5 yards of the ball.
That was the intent by Toomer was to call for the fair catch, but it's really hard to fault Smedley right there. He's running down 55, 60 yards full speed, and a receiver makes a little call like that. Tough to fault Smedley.
Bill Mallory of Indiana wants an explanation, and while he gets it, we'll step away for this.
Identify yourself. Do you go for the gusto? Go out on a limb? Go full speed ahead? Go where no man has gone before? Or are you a cornflake eater? Guess not. You go for the adrenaline-pumping, milk-defying taste of Wheaties, made with wall-to-wall, indoor, outdoor, toasty, tasty, 100% whole wheat. A whole mouthful of flavor. It's the whole Megillah. So for taste that goes all out, go for the over-the-top taste of whole wheat Wheaties.
Now on the commemorative Cal Ripken Jr. box.
To become a member of the Kamikaze Surf Club, initiates must first prove their worthiness by successfully negotiating radical monster swells, no smaller than your average drive-in movie screen. Pretty lame, considering what Blue Care Network doctors go through. Blue Care Network. We screen our doctors, so you get better choices.
This is Amani Toomer trying to receive this punt from Alan Sidkowski. Now watch where he makes the fair catch signal. There it is. And here comes Eric Smedley. He's already within about 4 yards of the man. And a very late fair catch signal. But nonetheless, Michigan gets the call and a first down across the 25. Gracie sets up a screen to Chris Howard. And Howard out of bounds in the vicinity of the 30-yard line of the 29, gain of just a yard. And some extracurricular activity going on away from the ball involving Amani Toomer and one or two of the Hoosiers. We are in Bloomington, Indiana, the home of the Hoosiers. Memorial Stadium. Wayne Larrabee, along with Randy Wright and Jim Barber. Michigan leading by the score of 10-3. 7:38 to go in this first half.
I think Indiana is getting a pretty good feel for what Michigan is trying to do offensively. They've thrown the screens. They've thrown the ball very short. Indiana's reacting very quickly. Michigan may have to at least throw the ball deep once or twice to keep them honest.
Biakabatuka. And he's got a good 5-6 yards on a straight-ahead move. Jamie Baisley made the stop for Indiana.
Also Jamie Baisley, number 45.
Tim Biakabatuka carrying the mail, stepping up for Michigan. Take a look at how he goes. It's about 5.5 early in the game. Middle of the game, he's dangerous. But you get him up above 21 carries, and maybe he wears down a little bit.
And he hasn't carried the ball more than 21 times very often.
Out of the eye, penalty markers are down early on this play, and it'll be against the offense, I would imagine, unless the defense encroached and made contact. But it looks like a procedure penalty, the preliminary indication against Michigan.
The thing up back like Biakabatuka gives you is when you throw the ball on first down, as Michigan did, and it's incomplete or you're tackled for a short gain.
Ball starts on the offense.
He lets you come back on second and long and still run the ball and still gives you a threat of picking up 7 to 8 yards, so you can stay on your third and short call. A lot of teams don't have that kind of back. It's tough to be able to do that.
You don't do that with a back that's getting you 3.5, 4 yards a carry. You do it with a back that gets you about 5 yards a crack, and that's Tim Biakabatuka.
Exactly.
Now it's third down at about 9. Mercury Hayes in motion. Greasy to the air. Pass overthrown, incomplete. Pretty good coverage on the play. Hayes, the intended receiver, Eric Allen, the coverage for Indiana, and it's fourth down, Michigan.
Gracie stood in the pocket very well to let the pattern develop. He had good protection early, but he gets some late pressure here, and that forces him to throw the ball and then cover himself up. He's got that banged-up shoulder. Baisley came in there. Every time you put a hit on that shoulder, it gets more tender and sore the next time you go out.
Smedley and Stoner back deep for Indiana to receive this punt from Nate DeLong, and the return game is on for Indiana here. Eric Smedley, the safety. Good move there. Fumble the football. Bad move there. And Michigan apparently has it at the Indiana 40.
Turnovers have killed this Indiana football team this year, and they have put Michigan in a position after stopping them defensively, making some plays. They put their defense in a tough spot, giving them the ball right here on the 40-yard line. receiver, or a defensive back as Smedley is, used to the contact, just doesn't hold on to the ball tightly enough there. He gets hit, contact forces the fumble, but it wasn't the kind of hit that was that he didn't know was coming. He saw it develop, just didn't wrap the football up.
19 turnovers on the season now for Indiana. 9 of those turnovers have resulted in 51 points for the opposition, and that's the difference between winning and losing for Bill Mallory and company. Bianca Batuka pounds the right side of the offensive line, left side of the defense, and Jamie Baisley equal to the task for Indiana. Also stepping up on that play, Aaron Warnicki, former walk-on, a leading tackler on this team at strong safety.
And they design plays for Warnicki from his strong safety position to come up and make the tackles. He's got 60 tackles coming in, and as you said, Wayne, the leading tackler, but yet that's not because all these backs are getting into the secondary. They bring him up into the linebacker position, shoot him through the gap so he can make tackles in the backfield. Those are design plays.
Second down at about 6. That's the tight end, Campbell, in motion. This is Floyd, and Floyd goes nowhere. A loss of about 4 yards back near the 40-yard line. Eric Smedley, the man who just fumbled on the punt return, made the stop 4 yards behind the line.
Well, there's initial contact in the backfield by Davis, 98 right there. That slows Floyd down, gives Smedley a chance to come up and hit a Floyd that's not running full speed, wrap his arms around him. Good pursuit by that Indiana defense.
Well, I tell you, what a first half Nathan Davis has had on the defensive line for this Indiana Hoosier team.
This entire defense, led by Davis, has played very well. They have done a good job of shutting down this Michigan offense other than a couple plays. And don't forget, the touchdown Michigan has came on the punt return.
It is third down Michigan, and Brian Gracie needs a timeout. We've got a break of the action with 5:07 to go, first half.
It started out as a harmless joyride on the beach. Then it got serious. Now available from ESPN Home Video, the NASCAR story. The most complete video history of NASCAR racing ever produced. Watch America's motorsport move from those early duels on the dirt to the high-tech, high-bank battles of today. You get all 4 videos for half the individual price. Just call 800-764-5441 or send $39.95 plus $5 handling to the address on the screen.
Montgomery Ward announces our lowest prices of the season. Save big in every department. In Electric Avenue, get great deals on electronics and appliances by Sharp, Magnavox, Maytag, and more. Hit Rooms and More for huge savings on brand name sofas, sleepers, and recliners. It's our lowest prices of the season at Montgomery Ward. Stop everything and go to Montgomery Ward for our lowest prices of the season. Check out incredible savings throughout the store, like a Sealy Posturepedic Queen mattress set for just $3.99 at Rooms and More. That's our lowest prices of the season at Montgomery Ward. But hurry, because these deals are going fast.
I know what a great deal means. I know what a great value means. But I don't know what insalubrious means. I make the kind of deals that even I can't beat. But if I could, who's to say I couldn't beat it again and again? Then eventually it would be free. That doesn't make good business sense.
ABC Warehouse. No big words, just the best deals in town.
Right now at ABC Warehouse, get this Lexmark inkjet printer just $229 or less. Mike Gleason back in the Big Ten studios. The Minnesota Golden Gophers up on Michigan State 7-0. A 58-yard scoring strike from Sauter to Atwell. It's Minnesota 7-0 over Michigan State. Let's go back to Bloomington.
Michigan going for it on third down. A 3rd and 10 for Michigan from the 40-yard line, just outside the 40 of Indiana. We are second quarter, and Gracie looks to the air. Oh, they picked up the linebacker well on the blitz. And a deep pass. He's got Toomer out there at the 5 for the end zone, and he's just out of bounds short of the goal line. They're going to mark it near the 2. A big play, Brian Gracie, and this is the first time Michigan has really gone downfield in its passing game, Randy.
If you look at Toomer here, when you play man-to-man coverage, you better get to the quarterback. He does a nice job putting the move on towards the post. He gets Joe King, the defensive back, to bite on that, and then he breaks to the outside. Just a wonderful play. He sets it up right here. As you see King looking in the backfield, loses sight of Toomer, who breaks to the outside. It's easy to throw that pass when you've got 8 or 9 yards between the receiver and the defender. Gracie needed that. Wonderful call right there by Fred Jackson, the offensive coordinator. First time they went deep, and they picked a perfect time to do it.
38 yards to the doorstep of the Hoosiers. First down and goal to go. Michigan to the 2-yard line, and again the Wolverines need a timeout here with just under 5 minutes left to go. 4:58 in this first half of play, and Michigan leading by 7, threatening for more. Now, if you take a look at the big plays that have been given up here in this ball game today, Biakabatuka's first 2 running plays netted 13 and 47 yards. But since then, Biakabatuka 7 carries, 25 yards rushing. In the passing game, Randy, however, a couple of 12-yard completions by Gracie, one to Howard and the other one to Toomer. Then you've got Toomer for 38 yards here on this most recent play. So you're talking about a play here or there, but it seems like every big play is setting up Michigan in scoring position.
And that's been the story of Indiana's defense. They've given up 5 touchdown runs of over 40 yards. If you took those plays out of their defense for this season, their average per rush is only 2.5 yards. So they're playing good, solid football. It's just not quite consistent enough. Michigan called this timeout right here, Wayne. They have had trouble getting the ball into the end zone when they have been down inside the 5-yard line. I think Brian Gracie did a nice job of calling this timeout. If he wasn't completely comfortable with the way things are, to come over to the sideline and talk that over.
Straight T formation, power formation for Michigan, and Davis gets the call going wide. Got a block from William Carr. Davis to the goal line for the touchdown on a good second effort. Ed Davis had to play off the tackle attempt by Nathan Davis and Eric Smedley to get the touchdown, and Michigan extends the advantage to 16-3.
Ed Davis is a backup tailback, but if you ask him, he doesn't look at it as a backup, and he doesn't run this play like a backup. He stretches it all the way out to the sideline, has a chance to be tackled there by Smedley, and just runs him over, gets the ball into the end zone.
Point after now for the Michigan Wolverines, Remy Hamilton. And he drills it through the uprights, a low liner. Michigan now leads 17-3 with 4:53 left to go in this first half of play.
See Ed Davis there on the sideline. They talked to him about being a backup, and he said, I don't look at myself as being a backup. I look at myself as being a contributor to this team who just happens to play after our starter. And by the way, what's wrong with being a backup on Michigan's football team?
4 plays.
Take a look at the run once again. Indiana got good pursuit on this play, but this is second effort by the running back, Ed Davis.
Well, when Michigan had the ball on the goal line in the first half, they ran the ball, same play, but to the short side of the field. It didn't give Davis a chance to stretch it out as far as he did here. This time they're on the right hash mark. They run it to the left side, and it gives Davis more field to use his speed as he did right there.
A very important possession coming up for Indiana as you look at the Michigan scoring drive. 5 on the ground, 3 through the air, but it was a big pass play of 38 yards that set it up. Monty Toomer on the reception from Brian Gracie on a 3rd down pass play that set up Michigan at the 2-yard line of Indiana.
I think that pass play not only set up that touchdown, but Michigan needed to do that to show them that Gracie's shoulder was healthy enough to throw the ball downfield. We'll see if that opens up some more of the running lane, because Indiana will have to play a little more honestly on defense.
Elms back deep along with Stoner. This kick, though, is going to be covered. It's a live ball and covered by Indiana near the 14-yard line. The Hoosiers at first thought that ball would hit near the 20 and tear him out of bounds, which would be a penalty against Michigan and give Indiana the choice of excellent field position. However, when that ball did not go out of bounds, Michigan very nearly covered it, and it would have been Michigan football.
You know, Indiana was concerned about their offense coming into the day, but it's their special teams that has been killing them. They gave up the punt return. They had the fumble on the punt by Smedley, and then this play right here could have been disastrous.
Now Indiana, as I mentioned, Bill Mallory's team needs to answer the Michigan touchdown drive with a touchdown drive of its own to get back into this ball game. They trail by 14, just under 5 minutes to go in this first half of play. Adam Greenlee has developed as this game has gone along, Randy, and a little more confidence in his ability to pass against the Michigan defense.
And I think he's had to. They came into this game wanting to give the ball to their tailback Glover. He's done an okay job, but he hasn't been able to pick up the yards on first and second down to sustain the drives. They've had to rely on Greenlee, and he's had some opportunities to make some big plays. Early in the game, he was a little nervous, and he couldn't complete those. As the game has gone on, I agree with you. His confidence has grown, and he's played better.
His numbers so far today. Now they've changed the time left in the game. 4:50 left on the clock now. That was the holdup a moment ago. It's first down for Indiana. And they're going wide with Glover. And Michigan knows it. And they strung it out very well.
I think we're also going to have a holding penalty against an interior offensive lineman by Indiana that if Michigan chooses could really back up the Hoosiers here.
As it was, a loss of about 3 yards.
Against Indiana, the preliminary signal.
It's something that you don't see Indiana do an awful lot is run Glover to the outside. He's a north and south runner. He's a good size back, 5'11", 205 pounds, and he can take a pounding, but he doesn't have a lot of speed, the ability to make plays happen when nothing is there. He relies on his offensive linemen to give him the line of scrimmage and then some to be able to pick up positive yardage.
If you run inside on Michigan, you run at Trent Zenkowitz and Jason Horn, 2 outstanding run stuffers. Holding has been declined by Michigan, as you suspected, Randy. And you also run at the linebacker, Jarrett Irons, if you run in between the tackles against Michigan.
And with that 4-3 defense, Zenkowitz and Horn are doing a nice job of keeping those linemen off of Irons, and he's stepping up and making some plays.
Indiana, second down and 13. Jarrett Irons, the middle of the Michigan defense. Greenlee off play action. Going deep for Matthews, and it's nearly intercepted on the play near the 45-yard line. Charles Woodson, the redshirt freshman, excellent coverage on Eric Matthews.
This is a pass play that is intended to send a signal. You see just the end of it here as Woodson is in better position to catch the ball than Matthews, who turns into the defender to keep Woodson from doing it. That sends a signal, hey, we saw your quarterback throw the ball deep. We haven't thrown the ball deep yet. You don't know what kind of arm or what kind of accuracy I have. We at least have to let you know we're capable of doing it and aren't afraid to do that.
Charles Woodson, the Michigan people were telling us, is going to be the next great defensive back this program produces, if all goes well and he stays healthy. I think back to Trip Wellborn, who would have been a star in the NFL today had it not been for a devastating knee injury in a senior season at Michigan. There's a penalty marker down on this play as the hole opens up for Glover for about a 3-yard gain out to the 15. Irons makes the stop for Michigan, and it looks like a hold coming up on Indiana.
You know, Wayne, people have told us how well the safeties for Michigan are playing. Michigan has always had cornerbacks that have been very good against the run, but not very good against the pass, except for Ty Law. Michigan now with their cornerbacks, they're very good against the pass, and that's taken a lot of pressure. That's taken a lot of pressure off of their safety so they could worry about the run, and it's really helped their production. So it's the corners that have enabled the safeties to play better.
The holding call turned down by Michigan because it forces a 4th down for Indiana. 4th and 10, the football to the 15-yard line. Amani Toomer back deep. Sidkowski on in punt formation again. This time back near his goal line. Got off a 55-yarder his last punt. This one not nearly so good. But it does take an Indiana hop and Karem's out of bounds inside the 45-yard line near the 42 of Michigan, where the Wolverines will put it in play next. 4 minutes straight up to go in the half. Michigan by 2 touchdowns.
Michigan will have the football.
Yeah, life's competitive, all right. Win or lose, doesn't matter. It's how you look at the finish line.
Get there first.
There's a lot of shoes in this wall. Better let me help you. After all, I'm always going to be waiting on you at the finish line.
Get there first.
Hey, Superfans, Jim Brandstetter here. Today's topic, your Metro Detroit Ford dealer's Superfan sweepstakes. Just check out the all-new 96 stores, and you could win tickets to the biggest games of the year. Let's go to the phone.
Hello, Jimmy.
Oh, Schembechler?
Can I win tickets to the Rose Bowl?
Sure can, Bo. Your Ford dealers are giving away 2 trips for 2. Next caller.
Any tickets for us basketball fans?
Joe Dumars. Hey, Joe, Superfans can register to win a suite to a game at the Palace, even the all-new 96 tour. See your 31 Metro Detroit Ford dealers to register.
About those Rose Bowl tickets.
It's that kind of a day. Bundled up, grim faces here at Indiana. The Hoosiers are trailing on a cold afternoon in Memorial Stadium. Make it 17-3. Michigan on top by 14 points, and the Wolverines start from their 42 on a first down. Biakabatuka, since his first 2 carries, has struggled to pick up yardage. He gets about 3 there to the 45-yard line. Lewis Pinnock makes the stop for the Hoosiers. Coming up at halftime, Mike Gleason will be joining us from the Big Ten studio, the Centennial. Stats, scores, and highlights.
I think this is a key drive for the Indiana defense. They have played, in my opinion, Wayne, too well to give up a touchdown here and go in at halftime 24-3. They need to stop them here and go in with a little confidence.
Campbell, the freshman in motion at tight end. Biakabatuka, they run the reverse. Mercury Hayes, and it's set up pretty well. Hayes to the 45. Hayes breaks into the clear. There's a penalty marker down, and the tackle made by Jamie Baisley, a touchdown-saving tackle inside the 30. Penalty markers down on that play.
Number 45.
Mercury Hayes ran the reverse down on the goal line and made something out of nothing. Here, this play was set up very well. You could see right from the get-go that it was going to be positive yardage. How big, you didn't know because you didn't see how it was going to develop. You knew it was going to go for positive yardage. Unfortunately for Michigan here, this illegal block is going to nullify the big gain, push them back into at least a second down, take away the first down that they had.
10 yards on the spot of the foul. Repeat, second down.
10 yards from the spot of the foul on the holding penalty wipes out most of the 26-yard gain.
You don't often see a reverse work well twice in the game. After a team gets stung by it once, they generally are aware of it, especially when this team was stung by it last week against Iowa. You'd think they'd be looking for it.
It is second down at about 3 near the midfield marker. Biakabatuka hit by Baisley and then covered up by Nate Davis, short of the first down. And third coming up, third down at about 2. He got a yard of the play.
Baisley does a nice job of coming into the offensive backfield and tackling Biakabatuka one-on-one. Good job to wrap him up and hold him for little or no gain.
Third down now for Michigan. And they switch up on some personnel up front. Bring in the extra tight end. Mark Campbell, the redshirt freshman, is in the game. Hayes, top of your screen. Toomer on the bottom. Third down. And it's about 2 yards to go for Michigan. Biakabatuka running hard, and he's got the first down, it appears, just inside the Indiana 48. To the sidelines in Jim Barber.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. As you take a look at the Michigan helmets, they're a little different from last season. That has a lot to do with Lloyd Carr and his attitude toward this team. No longer do they recognize outstanding game performances with the little maze helmets that are put on the helmet. And he says that's nothing to take away from the players, except I want to emphasize the team. And so far, the team is doing quite well.
Indeed it is. First down for Michigan on a 3-yard run by Biakabatuka. Michigan on the drive. We have under 3 minutes to go in this first half. From the Indiana 48. Biakabatuka has a reverse once again, and this time Toomer looking to throw, and he's got a man out there, Mercury Hayes, inside the 10-yard line. They mark it just outside the 10. Joe King had the coverage. Well-executed play by Michigan. 38-yard gain.
Hayes does a very nice job of setting up this reverse, looking as though he's going to block. He hunts up his guy, slows down, and then breaks away. King saw the play develop, but not quite quickly enough, and he couldn't recover quickly enough to get back there and knock the play down. Good job by Hayes of faking it as though it was going to be a block, turning it into a reception.
And again, another big play, 38 yards that time by the Michigan offense. And Floyd hammering his way up the middle. Chris Floyd down near the 5-yard line. Michigan State and Minnesota are underway. Mike Gleason in the studio has the story. Mike?
That's right, Wayne. The Gophers had a 7-0 lead, but the Spartans came back with a couple of touchdowns. Mark Renaud going in from 18 yards out. Spartans now leading the Gophers 14-7 that game in the second. Let's go back to Bloomington.
All right, Mike, we saw that Michigan State team in an impressive performance at Illinois last week. Nick Saban making a run for a bowl game. Second down for Michigan here, and about 4 yards to go. This is Floyd once again, and he draws a crowd inside the 5 near the 3-yard line. Victor Alate led the way for the Indiana Hoosiers.
Looked like they had him wrapped up around the 5-yard line, and as the pursuit came to make the tackle, they pushed him forward for another yard or two.
Well, Alate was on the bottom of that pile. Hammerstein was also there for Indiana.
Key third down call right here. 3rd down and 2 right there on the 3-yard line. If Indiana can somehow force them into a field goal here, that's what I think they really need to do that.
The power formation, straight T, and Gracie to the air to the end zone, and a leaping grab for the touchdown. Jeremy Tooman.
Sometimes you cover a play as well as you can, and the offense still is successful. Tooman slips right out of his tight end position. Gracie does a nice job on play action, finds him, but he looks like he's pretty well covered. Gracie just throws the ball in the only spot it can be, high away from the defenders, and Tooman jumps up 6'4" tall, jumps up and catches it at its highest point, brings it down. Good physical play by Tooman.
Remy Hamilton has the point after on its way and through the uprights, and Michigan leads it 24-3 with 30 seconds to go first half here in Bloomington. Take a look at the score. 30 seconds to go. Indiana does have 3 timeouts remaining. A big week for Michigan quarterbacks. In the pros, how about this? Jim Harbaugh, Elvis Gerbach starts tomorrow. Todd Collins understudying the veteran Jim Kelly at Buffalo.
When was the last time you were talking about Michigan quarterbacks in the NFL? Much less playing a very, very vital role on their NFL team.
You know, really, if you go back, Jim Harbaugh in the late 1980s was one of the first Michigan quarterbacks to experience some success on the pro level.
Well, I think Michigan started to change the way they used their quarterbacks because of Harbaugh. Because he could do so many things very well, he kind of opened up Bo Schembechler's eyes to we can throw the ball 10 times and not have to worry about it.
And Jim put up some impressive numbers at Michigan. He really did. And he's having an outstanding season with the Indianapolis Colts. And it's good to see. He's one of the great people in sports. He really is an outstanding. His father's a coach, and Jim is just an outstanding young man. Michigan kicking off. Feely with the short kick to the near side. Ellums from the 13. Ellums trying to hit a seam. Oh, and he's got one. Ellums had one man to beat, and he brought him down near the 45-yard line. Over to make that stop, Dadrian Taylor for Michigan. And it's a first down for Indiana at the 44-yard line, 27-yard return.
When you're a safety on the kickoff coverage team, all your job is to do is bring the return man down. Doesn't matter how pretty the tackle is. He did a nice job of succeeding and just stopped him. If not for that, it could have been a long return.
All right, what do you do here, Randy? They're going to the shotgun. Looks like they want to take a couple of pops at it. There's nothing to lose, trailing 24-3. Greenlee off the shotgun with that deep drop to pass wide of the mark. He's trying to hit Eric Matthews on the near side. Matthews had the coverage of the freshman Charles Woodson and the nickelback Chuck Winters.
I agree with this thinking here. You've got 3 timeouts left. You're behind 24-3, and you really haven't played that bad a game. They have had some breakdowns, but they need to get something going, at least give themselves an opportunity to try and get some points before halftime.
2 receivers at the bottom of your screen. You can see right there, one to the top, and Greenlee looking to throw on second down. Hit as he throws it over the middle. The linebacker coming in front of that play, knocked it away. Clint Copenhaver stepping in front of the intended receiver and misdirecting the ball. It's 3rd and 10 for Indiana.
You're behind 24-3. The tendency is try and force things to happen. That time, Greenlee throwing the ball deeper down the middle than maybe he should. Matthews fell down, the intended receiver. Fortunately for Indiana, nobody from Michigan was there to intercept that pass.
11 seconds straight up to go in this first half. 3rd and 10 for Indiana from its 44. Greenlee out of the shotgun again. Steps up, and this time he's brought down by Indiana native Glenn Steele.
Number 81, that's Glenn Steele.
And the first half comes to a close. So the Michigan Wolverines, after sitting for 2 weeks on a loss at home to the Northwestern Wildcats, come out and put together a solid first half featuring some big plays, and they have the lead 24-3 over Indiana. Let's get down to the field and Jim Barber. Jim?
Okay, thank you very much, Wayne. We're the head coach, Lloyd Carr. You decided to go with Brian Gracie today. He's thrown for 1 touchdown pass, set up another. How's his play?
Well, he's done a good job. But the whole team has done a good job, and we just got to come back out and do it for 30 more minutes.
2 weeks before you had played a football game today, any effects of the layoff?
Well, we came out with great intensity, and I think our defense has really set the pace for us. And we're running hard, we're blocking hard. We got to sustain some drives here in the second half.
Okay, thank you, Lloyd. Lloyd Carr here as the Wolverines lead 24-3. Let's go to the Big Ten studios. Mike Gleason. Mike.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. Back to Bloomington, Indiana right now with Wayne, Randy, and Jim. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Gleason. It is 24-3 at halftime in favor of the Michigan Wolverines. They've done a good job of shutting down the Indiana ground game, and they've made some big plays, Randy. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the first half of this afternoon's game. Take a look at it right away. This is Greenlee trying to force the football over the middle. Threw it a little bit late, as Randy Wright pointed out. Stepping in front, Clarence Thomas. That's one of the big turnovers of the first half for the Michigan defense. Amani Toomer had an opportunity over the middle here. He might have broken this one all the way. Got a good pick there by his tight end, but the pass a little bit behind him, and he could not hold on. But since then, big plays have highlighted the day for Michigan, including this one by Amani Toomer, a 38-yard, or I should say, the punt return down the sidelines. And you take a look at it as he slips a defender right there. He goes 56 yards for the score. And Michigan led in the ball game of the first quarter. And here's another pass play, this time through the air. Brian Gracie going deep. One of the first times Michigan went deep, Randy, and they found Toomer down the sidelines on a near touchdown there.
They did a nice job of setting Indiana up by going short as often as they did. Then when Indiana brought their 8th player up, their strong safety or their free safety, into the middle of the field, Michigan responded by throwing deep and caught him in man-to-man coverage. Did a nice job.
Let's get down to the sidelines. Jim Barber.
All right, Wayne, putting points on the scoreboard in the third quarter, very difficult for Indiana. In fact, they haven't scored in this period since the first game of the season. That was against Western Michigan, and their woes actually began in a game seen on Creative Sports. That was against Kentucky. Indiana had a 10-0 lead in that game and lost 17-10. So the numbers don't bode well, particularly with the history of this football team in the third quarter, as IU finally tries to get some points on the board. Wayne?
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Kickoff about to happen here. Michigan will receive to open the second half of play. Michigan defense in that first half of play outstanding against the run, allowing just 16 yards rushing by Indiana in that first half. And of course, as we pointed out early in the telecast, that Indiana, one of the things they wanted to do was run the football and control the clock in this game. Here's the kickoff to start the second half of play, and it is Hayes from the 5. Hayes out across the 20 to near the 22-yard line, and it'll be a first down right there. Aaron Warnicki made the stop on the play, and Michigan puts it in play, 1st and 10. Special teams have been a problem for the Indiana Hoosiers this season at times, and especially today.
Wayne, coming in when you don't have quite the talent offensively or defensively, as Indiana doesn't quite match up as well against Michigan, special teams is a place where you ought to be able to make some of that up, unless you have just an outstanding player. Here, the special teams have let Indiana down as they gave up 2 big plays on special teams.
Brian Gracie heads onto the field, but he won't get the football to the 22 where the kickoff return ended. A holding call against Michigan moves it back 10 yards to the 12-yard line where the Wolverines will put it in play, 1st and 10. Meanwhile, Michigan, Randy, very conservative in the early going, nothing long in the passing game. Worked some magic with some big plays, couple of reverses, a reverse pass, and they have burned this Indiana defense on plays here and there. But down to down, Indiana's played pretty well on defense. Little naked roll to the right side, and wide open is the big tight end for the Michigan Wolverines, Mark Campbell, the red shirt out of Clawson, Michigan, and Jamie Baisley brings him down near the 35-yard line. First half numbers, and as you get a look at them, you will see that Michigan able to do it through the air and on the ground. Great balance. Turnovers certainly have hurt Indiana. Time of possession, hard to believe, Randy, that Indiana had the ball longer than Michigan in that first half of play. Nonetheless, you've got to do something with the ball going to have it for 15 minutes.
Time of possession only helps you when you score at the end of that. They had the ball over 15 minutes at only 3 points.
22-yard pass play to Mark Campbell gives Michigan first down now out of the 34-yard line. Wolverine territories. We get underway in the third quarter. Tim Biakabatuka and Victor Alate in the hole drove him down on the play. Also in on that tackle, Matt Surface.
I think Michigan was showing some respect for this Indiana defense. They're down 24-3 at the first play. They run a little play-action bootleg and find their tight end wide open. Now on first down, the second play, they run the ball and Indiana stuffs them. So even though they're ahead, they know Indiana's defense has played fairly solid.
Like that Warnicki assisting on that tackle, a gain of barely a yard. Michigan, second down, still a long yardage situation, no gain basically. Second and 10. Brian Gracie sets up another screen pass. This one to Toomer, cutting it back against the grain. Toomer slips another defender, and he's out across the 45. Excellent moves in the open field, I should say in the tight, congested middle of the field by Amani Toomer. Lewis Pinnock finally recovered from the defensive line to make the stop on a gain of 12 yards.
When you run the screen to the wide receiver, your defensive linemen have to read it. Downfield, everybody's accounted for. Right there, Robinson has a chance to make the play and doesn't do it. That's been a concern for Indiana, is Robinson is an outside linebacker, great physical ability, but hasn't made the plays. He needs to start doing that.
Michigan out of character today, going to the running backs in the passing game more often. Chris Howard on a power move up the middle, and he's got 9 yards to the 45 of Indiana. Warnicki made the stop in the secondary.
Michigan, as opposed to the beginning of the game, they've started this second half mixing things up. They ran the bootleg, then they run right at you. Then they run the wide receiver screen. A couple of trick plays. But what they want to do is pound it at you. They're doing a nice job of mixing those trick plays in.
Hayes at the top of your screen. On the bottom, that's Amani Toomer. Biakabatu make that Howard the lone setback, and Chris Howard gets the call out of straight-ahead move, and he's got the first down. Javar Robinson made the stop on the play.
Watch for the running back. Go for the hole created by the line. You want your line to give the back at least the line of scrimmage. It's there. Howard does a nice job getting through that with his momentum, pushing those tacklers backwards, always falling for positive yardage.
Once you get to that hole, it's up to you then to drive the pile forward.
Absolutely. The line has done their job when they've given the back the line of scrimmage.
Michigan on a steady drive here to open the second half. Now the Indiana 40-yard line on first down. And again, Howard gets the call. A bit of a slant move there. Picks up a couple of yards down near the 38-yard line. Robinson, the freshman, made the stop. Benyard Jones was also there.
Indiana making a nice adjustment to the inside running game by Michigan by bringing their safeties, Smedley and Warnicki, up tight. If they continue to do that, with Gracie's arm apparently strong enough to throw the ball deep, look for a little play-action pass if those safeties are going to bite and go right over the top of them.
Todd Richards at the top of your screen now. Michigan on a second down. About 7 yards to go. Howard again the call, and he steps through a tackle attempt and drives forward, and he apparently has the first down inside the 29-yard line. Eric Smedley in the secondary. Safeties making tackles on the play here for this Indiana team.
Smedley again having to come up and help on the tackle. If your safeties are making the tackle at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield, that's a great thing. When your safeties are making the tackle 9-10 yards downfield, that's not a very good thing. As you saw right there, he didn't have to come up very far in order to meet the back.
8-yard gain that time. First down now for Michigan. The football near the 29-yard line of Indiana. They get motion from the tight end, Tooman. Little option pass by Biakabatuka, and running out of real estate. Amani Toomer on the near sidelines. Warnicki had the coverage pretty well measured to the chalk marks.
Nice play by Biakabatuka to see that he was covered and throw the ball away. You get quarterbacks that don't know that as quickly as Biakabatuka did right there. Trick play again after pounding it up the middle with Floyd. Michigan goes to a little razzle-dazzle here. Although it didn't work, it is keeping Indiana honest, and it's going to keep them from every play bringing that 8th player into that box there. So it's really, Fred Jackson really doing a nice job.
Biakabatuka enrolled in the division of kinesiology, majoring in movement science. Second down and 10 now for Michigan from the 29. Biakabatuka, bit of a delay. Well, he makes people miss, doesn't he? Inside the 25 to the 24, gain of about 5 yards. Warnicki again made the stop for Indiana. Another safety in on that tackle. There's Bill Mallory. Can't be happy with the way they started this third quarter is unfolding.
No, as you said, Biakabatuka makes people miss. That's why it's so important for Indiana to have players flying to the ball, because he's going to make 1 or 2 guys miss. You need that third and fourth player there to bring him down.
Michigan facing third down at about 4 from the 23 of Indiana. Gracie to the air. That's Howard on the near sideline who picks up the first down near the 16-yard line. And once again, what we're seeing here is Michigan a little bit out of character. They were top-heavy in the passing game to wide receivers. Here today, it's been exactly the opposite. That's about the 6th catch today made by a running back.
Watch this come right at you here. You see Howard right into the flat, wide open. Gracie does a nice job of getting him the ball early so he can catch it and has time to get his feet down inbounds.
Football just outside the 16-yard line of Indiana. Biakabatuka. Good move up the middle. Down near the 5-yard line, and he has another first down. First and goal coming up for Michigan. Warnicki made the stop again.
Wayne, you haven't seen many plays like that where the Michigan offensive line looks like they just blew away the Indiana front 7 or 8, and there was a huge hole. Michigan has made some positive yardage on the ground, but generally it's been to the outside. That play right there, big hole up the middle, big game.
Biakabatuka with 12 yards on that carry. He's up over the 100-yard mark in rushing here this afternoon already. Early third quarter, first and goal, Michigan. Davis. And Davis brought down near the 2-yard line, gain of about 3 yards. Jamie Baisley, Nathan Davis on the stop for Indiana. To the studio, and Mike Gleason.
Wayne, Darnell Autry has 7 consecutive 100-yard games. He just broke one for 32 yards and a touchdown. Northwestern 19-0 over the Badgers of Wisconsin. Let's go back to Wayne and Randy.
Well, I tell you what, Mike, the students helped to sell out that game up in Evanston today. A lot of excitement in the Chicagoland area over that Northwestern team, and I dare say across the Big Ten, they're opening eyes each week.
And every week they're proving that that excitement is justified.
They certainly are. We'll see them next week in Champaign. Gracie now on a second down and goal to go. The football near the 3-yard line. He looks to the air for the touchdown of Toomer. Full slant pattern, well executed by both Gracie and Toomer, and Michigan extends the advantage.
When you're a receiver like Amani Toomer, 6'4", you can go inside, you can go outside. Your defensive back has to be so aware of the ever-popular fade route that Toomer sets him up, breaks to the slant, and you can see 2 or 3 yards there of separation. When you've got nobody in your passing sight as a quarterback and a receiver on a slant pass, one of the easiest passes you can throw.
Remy Hamilton for another point after. And the Michigan Wolverines extend the advantage to 31-3. A big day for Amani Toomer. 3 touchdown receptions. And we've got a break of the action with 9:44 to go in the third.
Identify yourself. Do you go for the gusto? Go out on a limb? Go full speed ahead? Go where no man has gone before? Or are you a cornflake eater? Guess not. You go for the adrenaline-pumping, milk-defying taste of Wheaties, made with wall-to-wall, indoor, outdoor, toasty, tasty, 100% whole wheat. A whole mouthful of flavor. It's the whole Megillah. So for taste that goes all out, go for the over-the-top taste of whole wheat Wheaties.
Now the commemorative Cal Ripken Jr. box.
There are beliefs and values that tie Americans together. In Washington, these values get lost in the tug of war. But what's right matters. Work, not welfare, is right. Public education is right. Medicare is right. A tax cut for working families is right. These values are behind the president's balanced budget plan. Values Republicans ignore. Congress should join the president and back these values. So instead of a tug of war, we come together and do what's right for our families.
Mike Gleason in the Big Ten Studios reminding you our coverage continues next week on Saturday. Get ready for explosive Big Ten action with regional coverage on the Big Ten Network. Some of you will watch Nick Saban's Spartans tangle with the mighty Badgers of Wisconsin. The Badgers are looking to avenge last year's loss at the hands of Michigan State. While the rest of you will see the Wildcats of Northwestern take it to the Fighting Illini. The Wildcats have lost the last 2 meetings against Illinois, but Gary Barnett's troops plan on changing their fortune. It's Michigan State versus Wisconsin, Northwestern Illinois, all next Saturday on the Big Ten Network. Back to Bloomington.
Michigan leading 31-3 with 9:44 to go in this third period. Amani Toomer, 2 touchdowns, a punt return for a touchdown and a 3-yard touchdown reception here today. It helped spark Michigan into this big lead. Jay Feely on the kickoff to restart the game. Picked up on the play by Stoner. Stoner gets it out across the 25 to about the 26-yard line, where it'll be a first down. Scoring drive for Michigan to open the second half. An impressive 13-play, 88-yard drive. Their longest in terms of time. 5:16 the time of possession. Top heavy with 8 runs and 5 pass plays.
And Indiana's defense had done a nice job of stopping the big play on that drive. When they came into this game, that's what they wanted to do. Take away the big play. They didn't think Michigan would be able to drive the ball that far. Unfortunately, they did. Very, very well executed drive by Michigan.
Greenlee and the Indiana offense on a first down at its 26-yard line. Greenlee play action roll. Got a man open, the big fullback, Stephen Lee, and Lee dropped the football, incomplete.
One thing Michigan has done with the score being 31-3 right now is they have taken the pressure off of Indiana's offensive line and running game and put it squarely on the shoulders of Adam Greenlee. He's a former walk-on. Even though he's a senior, he hasn't played very much. And if you're Michigan, you got to like that position. Make this guy throw the ball in order to beat you.
The total yards do not belie the score. The score is just as much out of whack as that yardage number right there. It is 31-3 Michigan. Very impressive performance by the Wolverines here today. Glover has had no room to run. And matter of fact, he may have lost 2 yards back inside the 25. Sam Sword and William Carr on the stop. Sword seeing a lot of action here today, number 93.
No hole right there for Glover to run through. We talked earlier, the offensive line's got to give you the line of scrimmage. Let your running back get into the secondary. Right there, Glover had defensive linemen in his backfield. It's awful hard to run when you just barely get the ball and you've already got to put a move on.
Greenlee has just 2 completions in his last 10 passing attempts with an interception. And he's looking at third and passing here. Third and about 13 from the shotgun. Greenlee swings it out. The fullback lead. Going to have to make that first down pretty much on his own, and he's not equal to that task. Too many Wolverines in the neighborhood. And they bring him down just short of the 30-yard line. A pickup of about 7 yards, but far short of a first down. Principal defender Steve King, the safety.
And that defensive stand by Michigan is going to put the Indiana defense back on the field with just 3 plays of rest. They were already out there for that long drive by Michigan. They're going to have to go right back out there again.
Toomer has a 68-yard punt return for a touchdown this afternoon, make it a 56-yard punt return for a touchdown. Sidkowski, as I mentioned earlier, one of the top punters in the country. Here today, he's been averaging 44 yards a kick. Fourth down for Indiana. The officials had to square something away here. They had to move the ball from one hash mark to the other. And now on fourth down at about 7. Sidkowski ready in punt formation. Coming up on 8 minutes left to go in this third period. Sidkowski waiting for the snap from Ryan Hawley. Sidkowski just did get that kick away. Fair catch signal made by Toomer, and he completes it near the 17-yard line, where Michigan will go first and 10. A good punt by Sidkowski that time. Into a light breeze on the north end of the stadium. 55 yards.
Up to this point in the season, Wayne, Indiana has really had trouble creating turnovers. They've been flying around and playing solid defense, but they haven't been able to come up with the turnovers. In order to get themselves back in this game, they have to do that. Sometimes that leads to missed tackles, which could lead to big plays. Indiana's got no choice right here. They have to be aggressive and try and create things.
First down for the Michigan Wolverines, and Brian Gracie remains in at quarterback from the 17. And the freshman running back Clarence Williams getting the call off the left side of that big offensive line. Gain of a couple of yards out to the 20. Hammerstein made the stop along with Pinnock.
Michigan has come out here just determined to work on the things that have done well. They were not happy in that Northwestern game with the way Brian Gracie, as you see right there, with the way he played, with the way they let Northwestern get that game out of hand. They came out here determined to work on the fundamentals and the basics. Got to be very happy with that so far.
Ty Streets, a true freshman, is the wide receiver to the top of your screen. He's going to be one of the next great wide receivers at Michigan. Juggled by the tight end, Campbell. He finally latches on. Mark Campbell on the reception. Joey Ellams made the hit out near the 24-yard line on a gain of about 3 or 4 yards.
This is a good reason why you teach your quarterbacks. When the receiver's open, get him the ball quickly. He gets the ball to Campbell quickly. There's no defender there. This gives Campbell a chance, even after he bobbles it, to still make the catch. If Gracie hesitates and waits till he gets almost covered to throw him the ball, it's going to be an incompletion.
Timeout taken by Michigan on 3rd down and 4 coming up. 6:45 left to go in this third quarter. Michigan leading big at Indiana.
Three out of 4 new car radiators are made of aluminum, thin, lightweight, and under tremendous stress. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone Zone. The Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Here's your wake-up call, nature lover.
If that didn't work, try this. Now, for under $18,500, get a classic Jeep Cherokee with 190 horsepower, no charge air, 4-wheel drive, quadra-link suspension, and driver's airbag, all for less than $18,500. Now, if that didn't wake you up, try this. For the best in automotive sales, service, and value, see your Southeast Michigan Jeep and Eagle dealers.
Wayne Larrivee, Randy Wright. Jim Barber's our sideline reporter. Let's get down to him. Jim?
All right, thank you, Wayne. Tom Brady has been warming up on the sidelines. He's a freshman quarterback, the freshman sensation, if you will, from California. It's a good chance he'll see some action today. And watching this bench, in particular, Brian Gracie, everybody a happy bunch. That's not a surprise, I suppose. Gracie, in particular, talking to his offensive linemen about their support and giving him time. And a lot of the coaches going over and patting him on the head saying, don't quit. There's still some more football to be played. But right now, Michigan in pretty good shape.
3rd down, Michigan leading 31-3. I'd say that's pretty good shape. Penalty markers down early in this play, and double coverage on the wide receiver, Mercury Hayes. Pass incomplete near the 25.
Wayne, you were talking about Ty Streets being a freshman, and Jim was telling us about Tom Brady being a freshman. There's just something different about hearing freshmen in Michigan in the same sentence.
Even redshirt freshmen, Randy. It wasn't long ago they wouldn't even get a redshirt freshman onto the travel squad. But times have changed, and what you're seeing are especially skill position players and big-time defenders coming out of school early. Safeties, cornerback, and certainly defensive linemen coming out of school early. So if you go ahead and redshirt a freshman, and he comes back and he plays his 2nd year at the school, and then he plays 3rd year, he's probably going to be gone. He's not going to ever get to be a redshirt senior anyway, because he's probably going to leave.
There were multiple fouls on the play. Illegal shift on the offense. Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. Both are declined. 4th down.
So it's 4th down for Michigan. Now, I think what we're saying is we're not encouraging people to leave school. It's merely a fact of life. I think the NFL would love to just have kids stay in school for 4 years and then come out for the NFL draft. I think certainly the colleges would like kids to stay in school all 4 years, maybe even 5, and have that redshirt year. But that's not the way it is today. And in that regard, now that forces a coach to play his freshmen early. As soon as they're ready to help, why not get him in the lineup? I may not have him here for 5 years. Punt by Michigan. Stoner allows it to get by him. And as a result, an extra 15 yards for the Wolverines on that roll. Penalty marker is down on the field, though.
They get down to the football at about the 22.
Jamo Stoner allowed that ball to hit, and it took a Michigan hop for another 15 yards.
Wayne, it used to be the train of thought was, if I redshirt my freshman, then he plays for me when he's 23 versus right away when he's 18. There's a huge difference physically in a guy that's 23 and a guy that's 18. But as you brought up, he's not going to get that guy at 23 if he's good enough to go into the pros, because so many of them are leaving early. You also look at Lloyd Carr in the situation where he's in at Michigan, where he is an interim coach right now, even though that most people feel he'll be the guy on a permanent basis. He's trying to play his best players right now because he wants to do as well as he can immediately. He's got a one-year situation. He's got to take advantage of it as best he can, and so far he's got to be very happy with the way this team has played for the 7 games that they have played.
Absolutely. The penalty is against Michigan, the preliminary indication. Let's see if we can get the call.
There's a face mask on the offense. It was during the kick. It would be half the distance. Repeat, 4th down.
So they'll force another punt here by Michigan.
Well, 31-3. Lloyd Carr is still not happy over there with his special teams, keeping their heads in this game. As Jim Barber said a few minutes ago, the coaches on the Michigan sideline telling his players there's still football to be played. Don't go out there and give up. That's when a lot of injuries happen, is when you go out there and you relax, you think this play's not as important, and you let up. The defensive guy, or the guy on the other side of the ball, if you're on offense, is going full speed. So that's what you have to be very careful doesn't happen, the injuries when you're ahead in a game like this.
Nate DeLong, the left-footed punter, get another crack at it. Knee-high snap, and he gets good leverage and duck into this kick. Stoner. A little hesitation move to make the first man miss, but the white wave from Michigan, the maize and blue all over that punt return, led by Steve King. Let's go back to the Big Ten studio. Mike Gleason, how you doing?
All right, Wayne. Buckeyes in Purdue. Bobby Hoying rolls left to Terry Glenn's 11th touchdown reception. That ties Chris Carter and Joey Galloway for touchdown catches in a season. Ohio State 21-zip over Purdue. Back to Blue.
Thank you very much, Mike. 6:15 left to go here, 3rd quarter. Michigan defense. Boy, Steve King has had a good day. He's flown to the football, both on special teams and in the defense.
I think everybody on Michigan's defense has had a pretty good day.
Indiana came off a performance at Iowa, Randy, where they ran the ball for better than 230 yards last week. Here this week against this stout Michigan defense, one of the best in the nation, 6th overall in the nation against the run. They have been able to do very little business.
And with those rushing attempts last week, Sean Glover, their outstanding backup tailback, had 48 attempts. He had to be sore after that game. People wondered if he had to carry the ball that much today, would he be able to do it? I think he would not have been able to do it. Last week he carried the ball 48 times, but he hadn't carried it very much. His body wasn't sore going into the game. Today, only a week later, he was sore going into this game.
And you were mentioning to me that, again, as an athlete, that has a residual effect the next week. If you may not feel it so much in practice on Monday or Tuesday, nice little swing pass out here to Glover. Picks up just a couple of yards, but you feel it the following week when you've got to crank it up and try to do it again. Jared Irons made the stop for Michigan, along with Chuck Winters, the junior out of Detroit. But Glover here today, yards have been hard to come by. Quite frankly, he hasn't had a whole lot of help up front.
No, he hasn't, and they had only had at halftime 5 rushing first downs, and without that help up front, there are so many people that are coming at him from so many different angles, he hasn't had a chance to make anything happen.
Greenlee on a short drop over the middle. This time Glover, and his feet go out from under him. Otherwise, he might have had a shot at the first down. They mark it at the 49. It is a pickup on the play of 6 yards and leaves Indiana 3rd down and about 2 coming up.
You know, I could always tell how badly I'd been beaten up in the previous game by how quickly I recovered. Earlier in my career, it was by Tuesday or Wednesday, you're ready to play. Later in the career, it was Friday night, and you were still kind of sore.
You mean to tell me you didn't get good protection up there in Wisconsin?
Protection?
3rd down now, about 2 yards to go for Indiana. Out of the straight I formation, Michigan crowding the line, movement up front. We've seen this a couple of times where Michigan will move into position defensively, and then Coach Mallory's offensive lineman will fire a little bit early. That time, Michael Mihalik.
As a quarterback, you need to let a defense get set. You can't be calling your signals when the defense is doing that. And Bill Mallory on the sideline, it gets worse and worse when you're trying to execute just the simplest of plays. and you can't even snap the ball because one of your linemen are jumping.
Now it's 3rd down and 7, and the football back at the Indiana 44. From the straight shotgun, Greenlee scans the secondary. He's got a man out there. Oh, nifty catch. Wilkerson out of bounds, and a penalty marker down for a late hit on Winters, well beyond the sideline.
We talked earlier, as a young quarterback steps in, the hardest thing to get is touch. He had a couple passes earlier. He didn't put touch on the ball. This one, beautifully thrown, puts a lot of air underneath it. You don't have to be as accurate when you put air underneath it because the receiver can then adjust to it. He puts air under it, gives Wilkerson a chance to run underneath it. Beautiful, beautiful pass that time.
And a 23-yard pass play, and they'll tack some yardage onto it because Winters' hit came well after the play was out of bounds. And Lloyd Carr having a word with Chuck Winters. Winters, a veteran. And I imagine Lloyd Carr saying something like, "You ought to know better." Well, I've been around here for a while.
You know better when you're in high school. You know better when you're in grade school. Those are the things that you just don't do. Winters, he's a junior. He's played a lot of football for Michigan and will play some more, but you don't want to do anything to give a team that's down like this some momentum.
Under 5 minutes to go, this 3rd quarter. Glover has an opening. Down near the 10-yard line. Pickup of about 8 yards. Steve King, touchdown saving tackle there.
That's the play that Indiana wanted to run successfully from the very beginning of this game. Between the tackles, the offensive line, opening the hole here. Watch this come right at you. Look at that hole there, and it gives Glover a good chance to run right through it and pick up his 4, 5, or 6 yards. This is one of the few times they've been able to do that.
Red zone for the first time, Indiana. Not a whole lot there in that particular call. Glover getting the call once again. And again, William Carr responding up front for Michigan. Wolverines have controlled the line of scrimmage. Jarrett Irons also in on that stop. It leaves a 3rd down, the nose of the football just outside the 9-yard line of Michigan. 3rd and about 1.5 yards to go.
When Indiana has been down in this area, they like to roll their quarterback out, especially one that can run as well as Greenlee can. Give him an opportunity to play pitch and catch with his receiver or run for the 1st down if it's not open.
See what they try right here. Glover is the tail of the tandem in the eye. Greenlee on the option. It's blocked pretty well. Greenlee to the end zone for the Indiana touchdown.
A beautiful play by Greenlee that time, and Wayne, you called it right. It looks like an option to the defense, but this is not a true option in what it was designed to be. This is a designed quarterback keep play. He's keeping the ball the whole way. You'll see the backs here. They're blocking. They're kicking their guys out and trying to create the hole for Greenlee to run through. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, you have to cover everybody because you think it's option. The offense knows quarterback's keeping the ball the whole way.
In reality, you're right. I mean, it's an option-looking play, but there is no option. That's Greenlee. He's the option. He makes the turn behind the blocking in a well-designed play that we've seen. We watched, you and I were watching tape of the Illinois game, I believe it was, a couple of weeks ago, and that's something that we picked up right away. There is no real option. It's not like an Oklahoma quarterback here.
Correct. And when you get your linebackers, Jeremy Irons this time, coming up, he gets blocked. He can't get off that block in order to make the tackle. Good job by the offensive line right there.
Michael Mihalik, the man who laid that block on the middle linebacker of the Wolverines. Will Horns for the point after here, as again, Bill Manilopoulos went down early in this game with an injury. And the kick is good. So the Indiana Hoosiers respond after Michigan scores 31 unanswered points. Indiana puts together a drive for a touchdown with 3:18 to go in the 3rd. It's Michigan 31-10.
Yeah, life's competitive, all right. Win or lose, doesn't matter. It's how you look at the finish line.
Get there first.
There's a lot of shoes in this wall. Better let me help you. After all, I'm always going to be waiting on you at the finish line.
Get there first.
There are a lot of compelling reasons for buying a Dodge Ram.
a potent line of Magnum engines, the most available towing of any pickup, payload capacity of up to 2.5 tons. But perhaps the weightiest argument is this. Dodge Ram has higher resale than Ford, Chevy, or GMC. The rules have indeed changed.
I don't know if they're teenagers or eating machines. They're still growing. But they consume massive quantities of food. This new chunky chicken pot pie from KFC, that sure fills them up. It's got big chunks of chicken. I mean, there's actually chicken in every bite. It really keeps them going until the next feeding.
Everybody needs a little KFC.
Now, try the new freshly baked chunky chicken pot pie at the special introductory price of just $3.49 with a biscuit or cornbread muffin.
Number 28.
Indiana will kick to Michigan. The Hoosiers on the board. Trailing 31-10 with 3:18 to go here in the third period of play. Will Horn getting set to kick it away. And in place of the injured Bill Manilopoulos, Will Horn with a onside kick. And Indiana, did they cover it? Just outside the 35 of Michigan. And apparently it's Indiana football.
You know, I think they recovered it, Wayne, but I think they touched the ball just a little bit before it hit the 10 yards. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think they had to touch it at that point, but I believe you'll see contact was made.
Warnicki did recover it.
The ball was touched prior to going 10 yards. The receiving team has the option. First down.
Well, you could call, Randy, because we'll take another look at it, but that's a situation where Indiana executes in theory, but an early touching wipes this out, this recovery.
Catching Michigan by surprise. You can see the kickoff team here right there, right by the 40-yard line where it needs to go. It gets touched just a little bit early, and there was not a Michigan player right there getting ready to jump on the ball.
It looked like Joe King may have almost inadvertently touched it early.
I agree. So an unnecessary mistake by the Indiana special teams again gives Michigan the ball on the 41-yard line.
Davis for just a yard. Ed Davis, Michigan here today. Prior to that play, 326 yards of offense. But look at the big plays. 5 plays of 20 yards or more against this Indiana defense, including a touchdown. And it really is a microcosm of the season because Indiana's defense, play to play, does pretty well. But it's a big play here and there that has been really putting them behind the 8 ball. Second down at about 9 for Michigan. Gracie. Lots of time. And threw it behind his intended receiver, Todd Richards, on the play. Let's get back to the Big Ten studio. Mike Gleason, an update on Purdue, Ohio State.
All right, Wayne, they did it again. Bobby Hoying, Terry Glenn, this time 12 yards out. Glenn becomes the record holder for touchdown receptions with 12. Bobby Hoying has 18 touchdowns this year. 28-0 Buckeyes over Purdue.
Ohio State continues to roll undefeated.
Wayne, you talk about the big plays. There are a lot of reasons for that. One would lead you to think, well, Indiana doesn't have much speed on defense. That's why they're letting these big plays go. They're just trying to play a very aggressive style of football, which they did a couple years ago, and this year they're getting burnt on it more times than they're succeeding.
Indiana swarms defensively, and Chris Howard has nowhere to go. Lewis Pinnock, among others, in on that stop. Fourth down for the Michigan Wolverines.
2 years ago, Indiana's defense was very good. They were very aggressive. Last year, they lost a lot of their players, and they went to a very basic defense. Had a lot of turnovers and didn't give up a lot of plays, but they weren't as successful. This year, they went back to the aggressive gambling style, and as I said, they've given up a lot of big plays because of that.
Nate DeLong's punt. Returnable by Stoner, but he goes down quickly at the 31-yard line. First down coming up for Indiana from there. Charles Woodson on the cover. for the Michigan special teams. You know, it gets back to with Indiana's defense, and again, you say, well, they gave up 5 plays in this game. Most games are giving up 1 or 2
Just
big
the 1
plays
or 2,
a
exactly.
game. If you take a look at it coming into today's game, Indiana has given up TD runs of 60, 42, 58, 42, and 56 yards on the ground, and another run of 39 yards out. You take those 6 plays away from what Indiana's defense was doing, and the opposition is getting only, well, just 2.5 yards per rushing play. But you can't take them away. I mean, they are
They're
factors.
part of the game.
Part of the
exactly.
game. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Adam Greenlee trying to revive the Hoosiers. Got the fullback Stephen Lee out on the flat for a short gain to the 33-yard line, a pickup of 2. Over to make the stop again on that play, the safety Steve King. Jarrett Irons, the inside linebacker. Boy, those 2 players have had an outstanding performance here this afternoon.
They have played very well, and I think you're seeing the starters on Michigan's defense still in the game because Indiana had success the last time they had the ball. They marched down, scored the touchdown. I think if Michigan had shut them out there, you may see some substitutes in there, but they don't want to give Indiana any momentum. They need to take what little they have away right here.
Second down for Greenlee. Over the middle, got Glover wide open for a first down out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. First down on a gain of about 9 yards. Jarrett Irons made the stop.
2 plays in a row. Greenlee has gone to his backs. Michigan is dropping back in their pass coverage, giving Indiana the underneath stuff. This is where Greenlee's got to do a good job of getting them the ball and letting those players make some plays.
9 yards on the play.
Coming up on the fourth quarter, Michigan leading 31-10. And Indiana operating first down at its 42-yard line. Greenlee in a passing situation almost every down. And once again, Michigan gives him Glover open over the middle for a first down to the Wolverine 46-yard line. Chuck Winters made the stop. Michigan says fumble. And now the officials signal Michigan football. That ball had to come loose very late in the play. It looked like they had whistled it dead. Steve King made the hit and the fumble recovery, and Glover can't believe it.
Well, let's take a look at that. As he was catching the ball and running, he is surrounded by Michigan players. He looked like he had a pretty good wrap around on the ball. Right there, he covers it up with both hands, but it clearly comes out before his knees hit. Michigan player right there, number 35, Chuck Winters, comes in to wrap his arms around him, hits the ball with his left arm, comes out before Glover's knees hit the ground. Good call, I think.
And then King makes the recovery. Chris Howard to the outside. He got by Nate Davis, and Davis downfield catches up with him and throws him to the turf. But not before a 14-yard gain to a first down to the Indiana 41.
We've talked about how well Indiana safeties come up and create plays. This time Smedley, the free safety, block out of the play, opens up a huge hole for Howard to run through. That's why a guy gets that far into the secondary before anybody hits him. You're getting bodies on bodies in the secondary.
Final minute in this third quarter. Chris Howard, the lone setback for Michigan. Brian Gracie's gone all the way at quarterback, and Howard again reading it to the left side. Followed the block of his tight end, Jeremy Tooman. And Nathan Davis makes the stop after a gain of about 5 yards. Should be the final play of the third quarter, and we're heading to the fourth. Here in Bloomington on a gray, cool, overcast afternoon. Brian Gracie and the Michigan offense leading big, 31-10.
How'd I get here?
Pretty smart, huh?
You'll never get these smart.
Brain drain.
NFL stats, passing yards, rushing yards.
Sacks, quarterback rating, interception, touchdown. Game prediction, fantasy game, 1,300 players.
All right, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Back-to-back Super Bowl coach, who has the highest quarterback rating?
Aikman, Bledsoe, Marino, Elway, Moon. Get this!
Shaquille O'Neal?
Wrong. Steve Young.
NFL Super Data Blaster, the electronic organizer and stat machine.
How about them boys?
The Gold Rush is on at your Oldsmobile retailer.
A special allocation of Gold Edition Achievas has arrived in the Detroit area.
Surrounded by distinctive gold trim and 24-karat gold emblems.
Achieva has the look of no other car you'll find.
And these golden features come at no extra charge.
And for just $14,550, your Gold Edition Achieva comes with air, automatic transmission,
quad 4 engine, analog brakes, and airbags.
See your Greater Detroit Oldsmobile retailer.
Well, the gold rush is on.
Well, some Michigan folks made the trip down here to South Central Indiana, and they found some Michigan weather, didn't they?
Then we could have stayed home and got this.
Yeah, exactly. Second down for the Wolverines on the drive as we start the fourth period of play. Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber. Good to have you with us in Bloomington. Second down for Michigan, about 6, and Gracie to the air. In the flat, Chris Howard makes the catch, and Jabbar Robinson meets him at the 35-yard line. Pickup of basically a yard. Third down coming up.
Howard did a nice job as he caught that ball and turned around. Robinson was right in his face. Howard did a nice job holding on to that. It wasn't much of a gain, but at least a positive yardage play.
Howard had a cast taken off his broken hand earlier this week, and he had been limited. He had been making the trips and been going downfield on coverage on kicks, but obviously you got a broken hand, you're not going to handle the football very well.
And he is a back that this Michigan offense wants involved. We've seen it today in the running game and the passing game. When he's in there and effective, he can be a big, big weapon.
Well, Howard made a good move. He made a hesitation move on Eric Allen, and that allowed him to pick up the first down on a gain of about 11 yards. Smedley finally made the stop downfield. Take a look at the numbers through 3 periods of play. Dominance by Michigan. Indiana yet to get over 200 yards. Time of possession now in favor of the Michigan Wolverines. They dominated the third period of play.
Take a look at this last play. They've been throwing the ball to Howard out in the flat. This time they pitch it to him and let him run from the line of scrimmage. He stretches it, cuts it up the field, does a nice job of getting positive yardage, and he's a back Wayne I've been very impressed with.
Yes.
Fred Jackson said that he's a guy that's going to be a player. They have missed him. It's one reason they haven't thrown to the backs very much. With him in there, they've been able to involve the passing game around the running backs, and it's been very effective.
Chris Howard, a true sophomore out of River Ridge, Los Angeles. Gracie going for it all to the corner of the end zone, and there's a flag down to the play. Amani Toomer, the intended receiver, was tied up by Joey Ellums.
Well, it's so hard to stay with the receiver of Toomer's size because he can do so many things. He cuts to the inside, goes to the outside. He's got good speed, but there was a lot of contact down there by about the 5-yard line here, and it's hard to see who initiates it. But I think the ball's thrown out of bounds anyway. It came down inbounds. It was a good spot for Gracie to put the ball. Ellums does look like he pushes him away right there.
And it was the correct call by the official on the play. He's got to make that call.
I agree. You got to give the receiver an opportunity. If the ball's in play, if the ball's catchable, you got to give the receiver an equal chance to go to it.
The question you ask, is the pass catchable? Well, where the contact occurred, if there was no contact there, Toomer probably could have caught up with that ball.
I agree. At first shot, I thought that ball was thrown out of bounds. Clearly it was not. It was a good spot where Gracie put the ball.
Now first and goal for the Wolverines, and Chris Howard. Why not? He's been carrying the load in the second half, and he's got yardage down near the 3-yard line, maybe the 2 of Indiana. Pickup of about 7, Victor Alate on the stop.
Also there, Victor Allen.
You see our sophomore tailback, Chris Howard, a true sophomore, and even though he's missed some time this year with the injuries, they're counting on him for their stretch run as they go through the last 4 or 5 games of this season. They're counting on him to be a big part of that offense, along with Biaka Patuka.
Straight T formation with William Carr, defensive lineman, on the left side as a blocking back. And there you go, left. Oh, man. Penalty markers all over that play. Ed Davis was leveled by Nathan Davis. Oh, man. Somebody missed something up front.
Not that Michigan needs to, but we haven't seen them run many different plays down on the goal line.
Full start on the offense.
Let's get an update from our Big Ten studio. Mike Gleason.
Hey, Wayne, Pittsburgh losing to Temple last week. Check it out. Miami 4th and 11. Pitt 32. Scott Covington picked off by David Sumner. Fourth quarter, Pitt 16. Haynes 10. What do you think of that, guys?
Well, Nice response to that disappointing loss by the Pitt Panthers. Right here, Michigan winning 31-10. We are in the fourth period of play. We talked about Howard, Chris Howard, 9 carries, 60 yards, all in the second half here for Michigan.
And he's been a big part of the passing offense in the first half.
Off the penalty, Michigan, second and goal to go. The football back to the 8-yard line. Play action and Gracie on the roll. Now he's coming back the other way to the end zone. Wanted to go to Howard, but threw it away. Howard was well covered down the sidelines that time.
Good coverage by Indiana. Saute Dean has the responsibility, man-to-man coverage, does a good job of not going for the fake and sticking with his man the whole way, not worried about anybody else. No room for Howard to make a play. Gracie wisely throws the ball out of bounds. When you're down that close in, don't try and make something happen. You got another down here, throw it out of bounds.
So Michigan, third down and goal to go from the Wolverine 8-yard line. 3 receivers in the offense right now. Howard, the lone setback. Gracie going to the corner for Toomer, and he overshot him, incomplete. Pretty good coverage by Joey Ellums on the far side. And it will be for Michigan, fourth down.
Wayne, you just have to take your hat off to this Indiana defense. There's no quit in these guys. The offense, the special teams, not lived up to what they needed to do today. The Indiana defense, they don't get the onside kick. They give Michigan great field position. They hold them. Here after the turnover by Glover on the fumble, defense goes out there again and keeps them out of the end zone. There's no quit in this defense.
Remy Hamilton for a 25-yard field goal. This to give Michigan a 34-10 lead. Hamilton out of the hold of Jay Reaper-Smith, tight end. And he nails another one here today. We've got a break of the action. 12:39 left to go. Fourth quarter in Bloomington. The Michigan Wolverines, an impressive leader.
Burger King presents the first ever college football top 10 fan poll, where you, the fans, vote for who's number 1. Holding strong and still undefeated, the number 1 team is Florida State. Go to Burger King and find out how you can make your team number 1.
Here we go. Whopper Junior Value Meal. Whopper for me and a double Whopper.
Thanks, man.
Double Whopper. I'm scared of you.
It's good. It's as big as the American way. Big cars, big houses, big food.
At Burger King, get the flame-broiled taste of a Whopper value meal for just your size appetite at just your size price, starting at $1.99. And get your burger's worth.
And what about moderation?
Moderation's cool, if there's a whole lot of it.
Burger King, get your burger's worth.
More room. More power. More luxury. More Civic. For less than you think. Ask your Honda dealer about the full line of new Civic. He'll tell you more.
Score by quarters. Michigan steady in that first half, building up the big lead. A touchdown in the third and a field goal here in the fourth. Indiana finally got back on the board after scoring early in the game. 3-0. Finally scored in the third quarter. Fourth period of play, 12:39 left to go in the fourth quarter. Jay Feely has had a busy day for Michigan, kicking off. And Ellums and Stoner have been back deep primarily for Indiana.
Deep for Indiana, number 16 is Jamu Stoner, and number 31, Joey Ellums.
Kickoff coming up from Michigan. The Wolverines looking to extend their record to 6-1. And here's the kickoff by Feely. It is Stoner at the 5. Stoner waits for his blocking. Penalty marker is down, and Stoner is brought down short of the 25-yard line. About a 19-yard return by Jamu Stoner. We'll get the call here in a moment from Jim Hemmerling.
Going to have an illegal block in the back by an Indiana return man. It was right in front of Stoner, the ball carrier. Didn't really have an effect on the play because Stoner wasn't really going anywhere anyway, but this is just going to push the Indiana offense farther back. And if you're Bill Mallory, you really have to be disappointed in your special teams.
Take a look at the sandwich job. Jamo Stoner is shaken up on the play. Watch this on the return, Randy. The end of this is a sandwich.
Right there is the illegal block in the back on number 6 for Michigan. And he just sandwiched, as you said, Wayne. Luckily, he didn't get hurt, although it is Stoner, I believe, that's shaken up for Indiana.
Stoner is shaken up as he was tackled on that play. And let's get down to Jim Barber.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. Let's take you back to the first quarter. That's when Indiana attempted a field goal and made it by Bill Monolopoulos. On that particular play, Monolopoulos pulled a muscle in his hip and has not returned since then. That's because they've had to rely on other people to do the kicking duties. Speaking of injuries, Trent Zenkowitz went off to the Michigan locker room, but he has since returned to the sidelines.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Zenkowitz, of course, a key player up front for Michigan. Senior interior tackles on the Michigan defensive line, Zenkowitz and Horn. And they kind of hold it together where you got a redshirt freshman at right end and a sophomore at left end. Stoner heading off pretty much under his own power, so hopefully we'll see him before this day is out. First down for Indiana off that penalty, illegal block back at the 10-yard line.
Last couple plays, the last couple drives, Indiana had pretty decent field position. Here, backed up to the 10-yard line, still can't get conservative. You've got to try and make those things happen.
Carney's at the bottom of your screen. They're going to Glover, and Glover is met by Jarrett Irons once again. Let's go back to the studio. And Mike Gleason.
All right, Wayne, tell Randy his Badgers could use them. Mike Warren picks off Darrell Bevel. He takes it down to the 4-yard line, setting up a 3-yard Darnell Autry touchdown. Wisconsin with six turnovers on the day. The Wildcats 26-0 in the third. Let's go back to Bloomington.
All right, thank you, Mike. Well,
ouch.
Do you
Ouch.
believe now? Wow.
Ouch.
How about that Northwestern? Second down and 10 coming up here for Indiana. Greenlee in the pocket. Carney makes the reception and a nice catch on the far sideline up near the 16-yard line. A gain of about 6. Charles Woodson of the coverage for Michigan. Many of you, of course, next week, many of you in the Big Ten viewing area will be seeing Illinois and Northwestern from Champaign. It'll be Illinois' homecoming, and I think, you know, in terms of Illinois, it's one of the big games of the year in terms of the state of Illinois.
And it's shaping into one of the Big Ten games of the year in the conference, because Northwestern, every week, they're making more and more people believers, and you know, they are still undefeated in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. So we'll see them next week in Champaign. Third down for Indiana. Greenlee steps up, and Greenlee's got a first down out across the 20-yard line to about the 22. Pick up on the play at 6 yards.
He gave the first down for
Copenhaver and Carr combined on the tackle for Michigan.
Nice play by Greenlee, knowing exactly how far he needed to go for the first down and getting that, not taking the slide early, getting the first down and then going down.
And then going down because
always the ever important then going down.
Make sure you can get up for the next play. All right, now Indiana, first down from the 22-yard line. Backs are split, and Greenlee again looks to the air. Good protection over the middle. Glover, this play has been open the entire second half. Michigan's going to give him this, and Glover is out near the 29-yard line on a gain of 7 yards. Copenhaver, the linebacker, makes the stop.
No, that's a good point, Wayne. It has been open the entire second half, but you have to take it if you're Indiana. You can't force the ball downfield and throw the interception or the incompletion. You just have to get the ball to Glover, and hopefully he can make something happen with it.
And obviously what Michigan is doing here, they're going to have to give something. They're going to take away the outside and the deep, and they're going to give you the short inside plays. Second down now, and about 3 yards to go. Michigan in a blitz. Greenlee has good protection, though, and he's got his fullback for a first down, rambling out near the 40-yard line. Steve Lee on the reception. Good recognition that time, Randy, by the quarterback.
Excellent recognition. One thing you can do when you're ahead 34-10 is you can take chances. They came with the blitz, but they still played zone behind it. Not a very sound thing to do defensively, but they got away with it. They're hoping that nobody sees that corner come off with a blitz, and therefore he could come in and make a sack.
Football just short of the 40 at the 39 of Indiana. And Greenlee Greenlee again in a tight pocket, and a jump pass over the middle for Dorian Wilkerson. Boy, a dangerous throw there.
I don't think Wilkerson was expecting to get the ball at that spot. He looked almost as surprised that the ball was coming as we were that Greenlee decided to throw it there. Take a look at this, coming right over the outstretched hands of Marcus Ray right there. And Wilkerson, I think, had a chance if he'd been expecting the ball to catch that. It looked like it went right through or right off of his hands.
2nd down and 10, Indiana. Greenlee has hit 10 of his last 11 for 81 yards passing. And, of course, everyone knows he's going to have to pass a lot. And he's going deep, going for Matthews. And does he make the catch? It was a combination catch that time by the defensive back, Steve King, and by Eric Matthews. And let's see who they award the football to. It's going to be Indiana football.
When you don't fool a defender with a play-action pass or anything, and you're just throwing the ball up there, you've got to give your receiver, Eric Matthews in this case, a chance to make the play. We've seen Toomer make it. Now we see Indiana's Eric Matthews make it. He's the guy that's been out the last 3 weeks with the injured ankle. Greenlee does a nice job of throwing it up there and giving his player a chance to make the play. What a nice job by Matthews that time, coming over, and as you see, taking the ball away from King.
They both latched on, Randy. Neither one let go, but does a tie go to the runner in football? I guess it does.
As a former quarterback, tie always goes to the offense.
Yes, it does. All right, here we go. Up the middle, the fullback, Stephen Lee, rumbling straight ahead to the doorstep of the Wolverines at the 1. Steve Lee having a good drive here, and Jim Barber's got something on him. Jim?
Okay, thank you, Wayne. During the summer, tough sledding for Steve Lee. He had mononucleosis, lost 11 pounds, and got down to 245, and his mom said, come on home, we'll start feeding you a little better, and we'll get you back to health. His diet, you ask, 2 hamburgers in the morning, 2 hamburgers in the afternoon, and steak at night. Most college kids would love that kind of diet.
And a change of pace, we're going to give you 1 hamburger before dinner.
Yeah. Oh, my. I think I had that diet yesterday. Timeout taken by Michigan as Indiana has driven down to the 2-yard line of the Wolverines. We've got a break of the action. 9:28 left to go. 4th period from Bloomington. Michigan on top.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Great sports sites. The #1 sports site on the net.
Do the waiting dance. Then get a second phone line for less than you think during the Ameritech second line sale. Think of it. Get a second phone line installed for $42 off the regular installation price. So call 1-800-AROUND-YOU now. You could do the My Line Merengue or stick with the waiting dance. The second line sale from Ameritech. Your link to better communication.
Today's Big Ten Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of Creative Sports Incorporated. Any rebroadcast or other transmission of any or all of this game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. Wayne Larrivee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber. Mike Helling is our producer. And we're coming to you from the house, Memorial Stadium in Bloomington. Greenlee looking to the air for a touchdown. And he's got it. Only the 2nd touchdown of the season through the air for Indiana. And the first touchdown pass in the career of quarterback Adam Greenlee.
And throws the ball to Kurt Goody, a lineman that is in there at the tight end position. Good play action. Fake right there. Comes up, knows right where his receiver is. Gets the ball to him. Watch the fake in the middle by Glover. Keeps the linebackers in. What a good sellout effort by Glover that time.
Kurt Goody, the redshirt freshman from Chesterfield, Missouri. His brother plays defense on this Hoosier squad.
Goody didn't look like he was in any hurry to get into the end zone.
No, he didn't.
Nonchalant.
And the kick is up and good by Will Horn on the point after, so it's 34-17. Mention the Goody brothers. Well, their father Irv played 13 years in the NFL. Conrad Goody was a big lineman down in Missouri, their older brother.
I remember him. You can remember the dad.
Yeah, okay.
I'll remember the brother.
Oh, what a slam. All right, something to smile about, I guess, for the Indiana faithful here. 34-17. Yes, indeed.
Adam Gracie to Kurt Goody.
Goody's first touchdown reception of his career. And that's his first catch. Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber. From Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, 9:23 left to go in this one. Indiana trailing Michigan 34-17. Lloyd Carr pacing the sidelines for Michigan, and Bill Mallory. One thing you've got to admire about his Hoosiers is although they got burned by big plays, they got down big early in this game, they have nonetheless continued to fight back. They are just a little bit overmatched here today, to say the least. That's the Indiana drive.
Especially without some of their top offensive weapons. He has tried for the last couple of weeks to get everything out of what little he's had to work with on offense. And I don't mean to talk with disrespect for Sean Glover or Adam Greenlee, but these guys have not had a lot of experience. They're seniors that haven't played very much. And Mallory and his staff have really been tested to try and get an offense that it can score and put some things together. And it's hard to do in the Big Ten when you're playing against teams the quality of a Michigan.
Toomer on the return. Out to the 25-yard line, or so it appeared. Defense on the spot of the ball. Sante Dean made the stop. Second half total yardage, Randy, to kind of illuminate what we've been saying. It was 24-3 at halftime, and Michigan scored on its first drive of the second half. But second half total yardage, Indiana 165 yards, Michigan 129.
It's been a pretty even game. Back to the point we were just talking about. As a coach, you plan on having an Alex Smith or a Chris Ditto. So you develop your offense around their strengths. When those players get hurt, now all of a sudden, Sean Glover doesn't have the speed of an Alex Smith, so you can't run those same plays. And it really tests your ability to be able to get as much as you can out of those players and yet not change your offense completely.
After a long rest, Tim Biakabatuka is back in, and he's got 3 yards on a straight-ahead move. Baisley and Robinson the tackle for Indiana.
This is the kind of day when you take a back like him and you put him on the bench, and then you sit there and it's cold and you don't stretch out. You go out there, got to be careful that nothing happens to you. You stretch out very well so that you don't get the kind of injury, a pulled muscle, something like that can sideline you for a couple of weeks.
No question, there are some big games coming up for Michigan on the schedule as you look down the road. So you want to have Tim Biakabatuka available and 100%. Second down now, and about 7. Biakabatuka again. This time he is hooked and brought down by John Hammerstein. Excellent play. There is a penalty marker down. There is a holding call against Michigan. The story on Hammerstein, his brother Mike, I mentioned it earlier, was an All-American at Michigan. He's got another brother who also played at Michigan, and his other brother Matt played at Yale.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, repeat, second down.
Holding the call against Michigan. They may have been calling, they may have been holding on Hammerstein. He was being ripped down as he made that tackle.
He's not a real big defensive player, only 250 pounds, playing right in the middle of that defensive line. Uses his quickness. We'll see here, number 63. It was the attempted hold, or it was called a hold, but not a very good one because he could still come off of that and make the play. Get the best of both worlds there.
Exactly. So it's second down for Michigan coming up now. About 17 yards to go. John Hammerstein from a football family, to say the least. Brian Gracie continues at quarterback for Michigan. Got an offset eye in that backfield. Gracie sets up the screen pass to Chris Howard. Trying to make a spin move by a defender. And out of bounds at about the 22 or 23-yard line.
When you're not in, when you're in a position offensively where the clock is running, you want to stay inbounds. If you're Chris Floyd here, you get a spin move, get as many yards as you can, but then go down. Stay inbounds. Keep this clock moving when you're ahead by this score with this amount of time left.
Chris Floyd, I should say, if I stand corrected on that, the reception. seen so much of Howard. See these single digits in the Michigan backfield, you assume.
Bill Mallory and the Indiana defense are saying the same thing.
Yeah,
they just keep coming at you. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. They're all very good.
Only the number changes. Third down for Michigan, about 13 to go. Gracie on the give to Floyd. Well, he had a long way to get that first down. He got about 8 yards, but far short. Jamie Baisley made the stop on the play.
Indiana's defense, again, has put Michigan in a position where they have to punt with a little bit over 7 minutes to go. You can never tell what's going to happen, but this Indiana offense put 2 touchdowns on the board here lately, and they're going to give their offense, this defense and this punt return team, should be pretty good field position.
Stoner and Ellums back deep to receive the punt from Nate DeLong. Under 8 minutes to go, coming up on 7 minutes left to go in the game. Michigan leading 34-17. We got the return on. Stoner gets a shot at. Stoner follows the one block he had, and he gets out to the 40-yard line.
38 yards.
So it'll be a first down at the 40-yard line for Indiana. Let's head back to the sideline. And Jim Barber, Indiana Hoosiers haven't given up yet, have they?
Yeah, Wayne and Randy, you've made that theme known throughout this broadcast, and it kind of reminds you of what happened here last year in Memorial Stadium, Bloomington against Penn State. Indiana down by several touchdowns in that game. The Hoosiers came back to lose by just 6 and included a 2-point conversion at the gun after a touchdown with no time left. And that cost Penn State the national championship because the Lions got bumped from spot number 1 to number 2 right after that.
I agree with you, Jim. That did cost them the national championship, that game. A game they won cost them the title. That's hard to believe, but you're right. Now Greenlee on the roll, looking to make a play. And he threw it behind Wilkerson. Greenlee waited just a little bit too long there, it looked like.
Sometimes as a quarterback, you have too many options. He did a nice job of breaking contain, and as he was standing out by the sideline, he was looking across the field, he was looking in front of him. He had 3 or 4 guys open, and it looked like he couldn't make up his mind who to throw the ball to. Watch him as he comes out here. He's looking back towards the middle of the field. Right there, he's got a receiver open. No, I don't like him. I'm going to run it. No, I'm going to throw it to Wilkerson, who's open. Too many good options.
From the 40, 2nd and 10, Indiana. Greenlee, time a quicker pass to the sidelines. He's got his man. Dorian Wilkerson gave ground that time. Made the catch out near the 44 and retreated to the 41-yard line. Charles Woodson ranged up to make the hit on the play. They're going to mark it to the 43.
Watch Wilkerson turn inside after the catch. If you're Indiana, you want to get out of bounds. As Greenlee gets him the ball, pick up what yardage you can, and go the other way. Don't come back in when you're not going to make a big play out of it. That keeps the clock running. He tries to get out of bounds at the end of the play, couldn't have made it. The time is much more valuable than those extra 2 or 3 yards.
3rd down and 8 now, and a gain of 2 on that play. Out of the shotgun, Greenlee looking downfield. This is where he's dangerous, but Michigan had an answer that time. Over to make the stop, Jason Horn. He got a piece of Adam Greenlee, and a big enough piece to pull down the Indiana quarterback.
And Michigan's starting to do some different things defensively. Their nose tackle that time drops back into the zone coverage. That way, you can bring a defensive back and still play zone. Watch the nose tackle, number 96. Drop back, cover the zone that the linebacker vacates by rushing. That way, all your zones are solid. It confuses the quarterback, yet you're still solid in your coverage.
Sidkowski in punt formation. Toomer waves it off, but picks it up at the 20 and out of bounds near the 23-yard line. So Michigan takes over. It'll be first down with 5:16 left to go for the game. Michigan 34-17.
3 yards.
Identify yourself. Do you go for the gusto? Go out on a limb? Go full speed ahead? Go where no man has gone before? Or are you a cornflake eater? Guess not. You go for the adrenaline-pumping, milk-defying taste of Wheaties. Made with wall-to-wall, indoor, outdoor, toasty, tasty, 100% whole wheat. A whole mouthful of flavor. It's the whole Megillah. So for taste that goes all out, go for the over-the-top taste of whole wheat Wheaties.
Now on the commemorative Cal Ripken Jr. box.
No matter how mild the winter sky may appear, you what those clouds will hold. So get ready with the powerful Aaron's 2-stage snow thrower. They're the hardest working, most durable snow throwers you can buy. Available with 6 forward speeds, 2 reverse, and an exclusive 5-year warranty. So get ready, because it's coming. Aaron's, the best from start to finish.
Finish line replay of the game. It happened back in the first period in this afternoon's game. Sidkowski in punt formation. He gets off a pretty good kick right here. Avani Toomer, number 18 in white for Michigan. Watch the moves he makes here. Cuts across the field and eventually turns it back to the inside. Gets by Sidkowski and it's off to the races. A 56-yard punt return touchdown by Avani Toomer put Michigan on the board, and the Wolverines have never looked back.
Right after your defense had done a nice job, scores 3-3. What a big play by a big player for Michigan.
I'll tell you what, you take a look at these two receivers. Hayes, good size of 5'11", 195, almost 200 pounds. Toomer, 6'4", almost 200 pounds.
And we haven't heard much from Jay Remersma. He's another big player in their offense from the tight end.
Chris Floyd on the carry. Fred Jackson, the offensive coordinator, mentioned to us how much he likes Chris Floyd as not so much a true fullback, but as a guy with halfback moves, and he picks up about 8 yards there. And let's go back to the studio. Mike Gleason, Miami-Pittsburgh.
All right, Wayne, Pittsburgh 16-10 over the Canes, but check this out. Danielle Ferguson finds the lane, 21-yard touchdown. Tough one for Johnny Major, 17-16 Miami over Pitt. Let's go back to Bloomington.
Meanwhile, here it's 34-17 Michigan. Second down at about 2 for Brian Gracie and company. And Floyd again the call, and Floyd rides the way to the first down out of the 35-yard line on a gain of 3 yards. Nathan Davis the stop for Indiana, among others.
Nathan Davis, number 98.
Michigan trying to get out of here now without any injuries. Nothing fancy. Earlier in the game, when they were moving the ball well, mixing in some trick plays, 4.5 minutes to go, they've gotten out of this game without too many injuries. They don't want anything to happen here.
So, Michigan running the football. Look at what they've done here today, and you got to credit Runyon up front, Adami, Payne, Marinero, Jansen. Done a great job against this Indiana front, which was a good defense against the run coming into this afternoon's game. Let's get back to the studio. Wisconsin Northwestern update. Mike?
All right, Wayne. Some people felt the Badgers would at least test Northwestern. Now, this is Lavelle Brown. Cracks through, keeps going, 38 yards, another touchdown. Wildcats 35-0 over the Badgers. Let's go to Bloomington.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Gleason. John Runyon, junior out of Flint, Michigan, and that left tackle position. Top returning offensive lineman for this Michigan offensive line. And again, they seem to just reload rather than have to rebuild up front. This is Howard on second down and picks up yardage out near the midfield marker. Chris Howard back into the lineup.
Talk about that offensive line, Wayne. Marinero is the only one that they lose off of this squad. They're going to be good, solid offensive line again next year.
They've got a kid by the name of Noah Parker, a redshirt freshman that's working behind Marinero on that line. They've got some people. And, as I said, Randy, the thing about Michigan, they just seem to restock. They reload rather than have to rebuild on the offensive line. They always have good people up front. First down for Michigan. Football out near the 49-yard line. Michigan territory. Brian Gracie's done a good job at quarterback throughout today. There's the give to Floyd, and this time he's got the freshman, Jabbar Robinson, around his ankles. We were at the walkthrough yesterday, and we were talking to some of the Indiana coaches, and one of the points that was made was that this true freshman, Jabbar Robinson, was a kid who really would have to step up and play well today to give Indiana a chance to win. And he has done that. He has stepped up and played a fine ball game.
I agree with you. I think this is the first game that he has really done that. They were a little disappointed with his physical ability that he didn't have more results, more big plays. But they know he's a true freshman. He's going to develop. This is a step forward for him.
They feel he'll be a great one. Second down and about 11 yards to go now. Jason Carr in a quarterback, and here's the handoff to Floyd, and Javar Robinson makes the stop on Floyd. Jason Carr in a quarterback. He is the son of Lloyd Carr. Here's a look at his numbers in his career. Hasn't seen a whole lot of playing time. He's a senior. And there's his dad, head coach of the Michigan Wolverines.
Got to be happy with giving his son an opportunity to step in here and play, and what's going to be a victory for the Wolverines to get that thought of that Northwestern defeat out of your mind now after 2 weeks having to think about that.
Absolutely. Final 2 minutes of play. And Carr got a good block from his fullback Floyd. Finds the tight end, Tuman, and he's close to the first down on a gain of 8 yards. Eric Smedley forced him out of the far side, stopping the clock with 1:25 to go.
Wayne, I think Michigan wanted to get their backups into this game much earlier. You know, they wanted to get their quarterback Gracie out. He had the hurt shoulder, but I think because of Indiana's ability to keep this game relatively close with some offensive production in the second half, didn't give Coach Carr that comfortable feeling and the confidence to pull those guys out earlier.
Well, the Michigan faithful not happy with this decision on 4th and 1 for Michigan to punt the football, but Lloyd Carr is a sportsman, and he does not want to sit here and rub it in on Bill Mallory and the Hoosiers, so he kicks the football away, and they're going for the corner of the coffin, and this one catches the end zone, so Indiana will get it out of the 20-yard line. Take a break in the action with 1:18 left to go in the game. Michigan on its way to its 6th win of the year.
Yeah, life's competitive, all right. Win or lose, doesn't matter. It's how you look at the finish line.
Get there first.
There's a lot of shoes in this wall. Better let me help you. After all, I'm always going to be waiting on you at the finish line.
Get there first.
It's not a payphone. It's a window to your family. It's a monitor to the stock market. It's a weather report, a movie guide, a tool to help you manage your life. Today, this tool works in new ways that may surprise you, but only if you're careful which one you choose. It makes a difference in what you pay and how you're served. This isn't just any payphone. It's Ameritech. Ameritech, your link to better communication.
The preceding arguments for sliding doors on both sides were brought to you courtesy of the new Dodge Caravan. Just as original as the original.
Last week, Michigan State gave Nick Saban his first Big Ten victory, beating Illinois. The Spartans are doing it again. Early 4th, Michigan State 31-21 over Minnesota. In the 4th, in Columbus, the Buckeyes lead Purdue 28-zip. Let's go back to Wayne and Randy.
Thank you, Mike Gleason. Right here, Michigan on its way to its 6th win in 7 games. 1:18 left to go in this one. Indiana on the attack. From its 20-yard line, Greenlee trying to hit the deep man in that pattern. Not the fullback Lee, but the wide receiver Stoner. And the pass off the mark. 2nd and 10 coming up. Randy, looking ahead with Michigan, Indiana today, of course, and then Minnesota next week. And then the month of November is where their season will be basically taken care of, one way or the other. Michigan State on the road on the 4th of November. Purdue at home on the 11th. Penn State on the road on the 18th. Ohio State at home on the 25th.
Back-to-back with Penn State and Ohio State. Always tough in that Michigan State game.
It will be tough. Believe me, that's an in-state rivalry, as you well know, one of the great rivalries in the Big Ten. Greenlee going deep for Stoner, and the pass overthrown.
Incomplete pass.
68 seconds to go in the game, and Indiana facing a 3rd down and 10.
One thing about Michigan, which is kind of a scary thought if you're the rest of the Big Ten, they always seem to play better towards the end of the season, especially defensively. They play a lot of seniors, and those guys, I think, just take the field. Hey, this is the end of our career. This is the last couple of games.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Llewellyn in Channel 7's College Football Control. Our second game is coming up shortly, Iowa and Penn State today, but we're going to stay right with this Michigan-Indiana game to its conclusion. We'll have highlights of all the college football action tonight on Action News following Game 1 of the World Series. Enjoy the football, everyone.
Greenlee ever pay for it? Glenn Steele just wiped out the quarterback.
Beautiful job by Greenlee, standing in the pocket, knowing the hit's going to come by Steele, and he throws a strike to Kearney out on the sideline. That's a big-time play by a quarterback that hasn't played very much.
That takes a lot of courage. There's no doubt about that. We've got a break, and we'll return with the final seconds after these messages.
Oh, you didn't get tomatoes?
Nah, I've been kind of on a rut lately, you know. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Whopper, no tomatoes.
Change your pace.
Exactly.
Expecting a weave and you bob.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking zig, use egg.
Yeah.
You're a bold man.
The Whopper. It always tastes great because it's always fixed your way, with fries and a drink for just $2.99 every day at Burger King.
So, you out of your rut?
I believe I am.
You're rutless.
Enough with the ruts.
You've been ejected from the Rutmobile. No ruts, no glory.
There are beliefs and values that tie Americans together. In Washington, these values get lost in the tug of war. But what's right matters. Work, not welfare, is right. Public education is right. Medicare is right. A tax cut for working families is right. These values are behind the president's balanced budget plan. Values Republicans ignore. Congress should join the president and back these values. So instead of a tug of war, we come together and do what's right for our families.
Mike Gleason back in the Big Ten studios a couple of minutes ago. I said Michigan State had the lead of Minnesota, reversed those scores. The Golden Gophers 31-24 over Michigan State in the fourth. It's a final from Columbus. The Buckeyes go to 7-0, 28-0 winners over the Purdue Boilermakers. Let's go back to Bloomington.
Fourth down for Indiana right here. The 29-yard line, 4th and 1. Hoosiers in their own territory going for it. And Glover drives forward for the first down. He was met initially on the play by Brent Blackwell, but he drove that linebacker forward to reach the first down marker of the 31. Gain of 2. Final 45 seconds and penalty markers are down, stopping the play. Indiana will see its losing streak extended to 5 games with this loss here today.
It shouldn't be too much longer waiting until they start getting some of those offensive weapons back.
False start on the offense.
I should say the losing streak will reach 4 games. They opened with a win against Western Michigan, then lost to Kentucky here at home, and then defeated Southern Miss, and since have lost to Northwestern, Illinois, Iowa, now Michigan. And next week for Bill Mallory and company, Penn State on the road.
Doesn't get any easier, does it?
Not in this conference. Well, first down, and about 15 yards to go. Greenlee to the air, over the middle. Glover is open underneath the coverage, and he picks up yardage across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Blackwell again made the stop for Michigan.
Well, next week, as Jim Barber told us earlier, Chris Ditto may be back, maybe not. Alex Smith, he's running full speed right now, but with those broken ribs, cracked ribs, doesn't know how long it's going to be before he can get out there and start taking the hit and the pounding.
Well, they have a protective device that apparently will be here on Monday for Alex Smith, and that may hasten his return. But let's get some final comments from our sideline reporter, Jim Barber. Jim?
And Wayne, Michigan coach Lloyd Carr talked all week long about how a team reacts to adversity, and that's what happened to Michigan after losing a big one to Northwestern a couple of weeks ago. Well, they have responded. And in fact, you watch the faces on this particular bench. A lot of these guys pretty psyched up about the way they performed today. They didn't quit when they got the 31-3 lead, although they did appear to relax a little bit. And now they're back in sync for what lies ahead, and they still have a crack at the Rose Bowl if they get some help.
They're going to need some help against Northwestern, and they could help themselves against Ohio State.
That's going to be an awfully big game. Ohio State, every week, they just seem to get better and better, and their tough part of their schedule is over. They had a murderous beginning to their schedule this year, and they came through it unblemished.
From the shotgun on second down, Greenlee again to the air. Bumped into his own blocker and had nowhere to go in the end, and down he goes at the 34-yard line, a loss of about 3 yards. Final seconds about to tick away here. 9 seconds to go, but Indiana calls another timeout. Rasheed Simmons made the stop on that play for Michigan. So for Bill Mallory, who back in 1987 here at home came essentially within 1 game of making the Rose Bowl with his Hoosier squad in this program. They played Michigan State here in late November. Were unable to get the job done that day. Michigan State went on to the Rose Bowl under George Perlis and won. And the rest is history. The Hoosiers have had an upper division Big Ten team up until the last year or so. And this season, with the injuries, the wave of injuries, no program on this level can sustain that kind of damage to its key personnel and continue to play well.
That's exactly right, Wayne. I couldn't agree with you more. With the 85 scholarships, depth has become a problem for everybody. And when you lose the players that Indiana has lost to the length that they've lost them, not just a quarter, but for several games,
yes,
it's so hard to be able to maintain your level of play.
Could be the final play of the game. 9 seconds to go, and Greenlee in the gun. Looking deep, and why not? Go for it all. Wilkerson and Matthews are out there, and so are a pack of Wolverines, and this ball game is over on an incomplete. Well, hang on, an interception. The interception made by Chuck Winters. 1 second remaining. Michigan will have time to make one more snap.
I think that's all it'll be. I don't think there will be anything funny going on right here.
Not at all. Lloyd Carr and the Michigan program, too much class for that. Special thanks to Jim Schneider and Bruce Motti up at Michigan in the Sports Information Office. And, of course, Kit Klingelhofer down here at Indiana. They do a great job. And for our entire crew, enjoyed our stay here in Indiana. We'll be at Illinois next week. Many of you will see Illinois and Northwestern at Illinois' homecoming in Champaign. And the final play as Jason Carr dropped to one knee. The Michigan Wolverines with an impressive 34-17 win over Indiana. Now 6-1, 2-1 in the conference race. For Randy Wright, Jim Barber, Wayne Larrabee, so long.